What up, everybody? You're now tuned into the true definition of a sports fanatic. I'm your host, Brandon Lampley. Back today with another live stream. Hey, we got a good one today, man. We got to make up for last week. We got to get these topics out, man. It has been an interesting 2 weeks. I didn't think that the Jaguars could go from bad to worse, but they went from bad to worse. Mr. Antonio Brown has his own saga going. We're going to start the show, though, with Baker Mayfield. And that Baker Mayfield is in Cleveland. So we got to get on that. I want your opinions on that, Mr. Reid. But how are you doing today, Mr. Reid?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. I just see the light at the end of the tunnel. The Jaguars season is about to be over, along with the drama. And man, I just say very quickly, man. I have never seen a season like this in my life.
Yeah.
On, off the field, in the lot. I mean, cold. I mean, I have never experienced a season as dysfunctional as this one, and I leave it at that.
Yeah,
I'm sure we'll be talking about this, but
we'll definitely be talking about this. We're gonna get into the Jaguar news, man, but we are going to start with Mr. Baker Mayfield. So a tweet by Mary Kay Cabot. She tweeted out, say, Browns Baker Mayfield must resolve his differences with Kevin Stefanski soon in case they need to coexist next season. Also, some names that will be on the radar if they don't. And Baker Mayfield say, this is clickbait. He said, you and many other Cleveland local media continue to be drama stirring reporters with no sources or facts. Don't put words in my mouth so you can put food on your table. I'm not your puppet. And I saw that and I was like, ooh, okay. I mean, Baker maybe he's having, probably his worst season. He's beat up. They got some issues there. Supposedly there were some issues with him and Stefanski about play calling, which is why, I mean, this is clickbait and he may not have said that, but where there's smoke, there's fire. There's clearly an issue. You can see it. You can clearly see that there was an issue there. But for him to say that and come out, he's like, no, don't put words in my mouth, man.
Brandon, I watched that game, the Monday night game with Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I tell fans this is how you can tell if a guy is beloved in the locker room, particularly a quarterback. I saw him scramble. I saw him get sacked at least twice. And the first thing that you notice if a guy is all in with his teammates, the first thing that an offensive lineman will do is run toward the quarterback after a sack and help him up.
Yeah.
If you go back and watch that game, many times he was helping himself up.
Yeah, he was. It was a play with TJ Watt almost decapitated him. And I don't think I saw a lineman help him up after that play.
Yeah.
I mean, ear holding.
Yeah. That's when it shows. I mean, as we spoke about Baker Mayfield before, man. I just think I hate to call athletes arrogant because a lot of times you have to be arrogant to be good in the league.
Yeah.
But this guy, I mean, just like lashing out after this reporter, to be honest, she's been there way longer than Baker Mayfield. Man, she's been there during the rough times.
She's been there for a long time.
And she probably know more. She can probably gather more information inside that franchise than Baker Mayfield. And I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I mean, she's almost like an icon with that team and in Cleveland. Yes. And just for a guy to just lash out because he's upset at this and that, his future in Cleveland, it's no secret. It's in jeopardy. I mean, they don't know if they want to go forward. They don't know if they want to spend that kind of money and keep going forward with a quarterback who can't get them into the playoffs. I mean, basically, that's what it is. Yeah. You can't go out on a Monday night and lose the game when you have to have it. United, they still got a slim shot of making the playoff, but they got to get help.
Yep.
And it is what it is. The guy don't get along with anybody. He doesn't have a friend on the team. He's a hard guy to get along with. It ain't just the head coach, it's his teammates. He's a hard guy to get along with. And he's even harder when things are not going right. And that's the word around the league about him. He's a hard guy to get along with. And you not it and he's got to understand, man, lashing out at a reporter and it goes public, it ain't helping him.
Yeah.
It's not helping his situation at all. You know, you go back. He couldn't get along. I mean, it's the same story each season. There's rumor of this that he had a falling out, or he couldn't do this. He's upset with this, and I mean, it's a pattern. And that's why they're right now evaluating: are we going to be in a situation where we better off, or what is our future with Baker Mayfield? And that's the decision they're going to decide in the offseason. I think if they don't make the playoffs, I don't know if he's going to be there.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And you're talking about a guy who's pretty much been given everything. Look at his weapons. Yep. Look at his weapons, man. He has a great trio of wide receivers. You have 2 legit tight ends. You have a offensive line where 3 of your offensive linemen are 3 of the best linemen in the league. I mean, that's just what it is. You got 3 running backs: Dearness Johnson, Nick Chubb, and Kareem Hunt. You have to get it done. And then you have a defense that's opportunistic with Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward and those guys, and Ronnie Harrison back there. Dude, he has no excuses anymore. But this right here lets me know that it's coming to an end, because he shouldn't have said anything. He should have just kept the play.
Let it go. I mean, you can't. The thing is, man, you can't stop. You're not going to stop the rumors. And to be honest, a lot of times somebody in the organization is feeding the information. It's just like, I mean, when somebody gets sick and tired, they just get sick and tired. They don't have to say it. They don't have to come on TV and say it and broadcast it. I'm sick and tired of this guy. They just do it. They just do the download. I mean, they just okay, man. Let me give you this snippet. Let me give you this to this reporter, and that's how it goes. And then his image, he can't control his image at this point. When you don't win, you come in as a number 1 overall pick. You haven't lived up to your expectations. It's the same old thing. Okay, Cleveland. Well, I mean, this is the year. They're supposed to be a playoff contending team. And then they just take this downward spiral. They played good early in the season, and then now it's time to play real meaningful football. That you don't see it. I mean, how can you not be good? You got a guy like Chubb at running back. I mean, let's be honest. They got a running game and they got receivers. How in the world, if he's what he is as this franchise quarterback, can't win with that kind of talent? And they got a defense. It ain't his teammates. It's him.
It's him. Yeah, Chubb is averaging 6 yards. Was averaging like 6 or 7 yards a carry or something crazy like that. And you still can't win. I don't understand, man. And he's making high school type mistakes as a quarterback. He's making mistakes that you like, quarterbacks used to get this out their system in high school, man. They don't even make these mistakes like this in college. So,
but the big problem is, I think sometimes with him, you got to move your head, man. You can't lock in on the receiver and don't look off the receiver. I know he's still doing that problem. I seen that Monday night. You can't just lock in your eyes on the receiver and don't expect that they're gonna read where you're going with the ball. And that's been some of his issues. And I think he runs and maybe a fumble here, or he just doesn't generate what he's supposed to do as a quarterback. I mean, he can't get them when it comes time that they need a big play. He can't make it.
Yeah, I got you. But he can't make the big play. And one of the things I saw, like on the sideline, his demeanor, his body language, him being despondent, That's one of the things about Blake Bortles here in Jacksonville. I told people you could always tell what kind of game Blake Bortles was going to have by his body language early in the game.
Yeah.
If he had slumped shoulders and he head down and stuff like that, I was like, man, it's going to be a long day.
Yeah.
It's going to be a long day. You know, and same with him. That despondent look he out in his face. He's not engaged.
You can't be a quarterback like that when you're not engaged. I mean, and you're right, Brandon. I've seen there's a lot of times he just go off by himself. I mean, he don't talk with the receivers. He's like in his own on no man land. You know, and to me, that's just a guy that, hey, it ain't my fault, it's your fault. You know, it's just like when a guy does that, has that kind of characteristic, it's a point the finger type of guy. And there's something about his leadership qualities, it's something about him that doesn't resonate with that entire team, man. You can tell there's a disconnect with his teammates, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. He's still young. He still could have a bright future, but you know, always, man, it ain't always that first team you go to. You're always gonna have that first glimpse of, you know, he may experience more success with his second stop than his first one. You know, because I think his biggest issue is he's got to mature, man. I don't think he's matured enough. You know, I don't think he really even matured enough to just sit down and say to himself with some soul searching, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the problem. You know, not Odell, not Odell Beckham, not, you know, maybe I'm the problem. And it's hard, man. It's hard for a superstar athlete who done been this, got a Heisman Trophy sitting in his living room and all this, that, and you see read them press clippings, and they do all that, and they never do inner soul searching to say, I gotta do better. From mentally, it's not. It may not even be physical. From a physical, you know, the quarterback things that he can do. Yeah, he can throw the ball quick. Yeah, he got a strong arm. But in that position, you have to be a leader, man. You got to be a leader of men. You have to be the guy who's calm in the huddle. You have to be the guy that says you 80 yards from the end zone, and we gonna get there. And you got to have all 10 of those guys in the huddle believing that you can get them there. I don't think he's got that.
Yeah.
Even with Nick Chubb.
Yeah, I don't think he's got that either. So the Cleveland Browns, at the end of the day, they got a decision to make. If I'm them, Kevin Stefanski stays. Kevin Stefanski, I think, is a good coach.
Oh, yeah.
And you go, and if one of them got to go, Baker's got to go. I'm keeping Kevin Stefanski, and we go get us another quarterback. I talked to some Cleveland fans who I work with, and they say, "Hey, throw Case Keenum in. Let's see what Case Keenum got. We want to see Case Keenum." They say because Baker's not the guy, man. They got to move on, give Case Keenum a shot, then draft the guy, and go into the year as Case Keenum is the starter, and go draft you a guy. That's what the fans are saying. So, I mean, it might be it for Baker. The good thing the only positive about this is that he's not going to be without a team in a time where there's not many openings. The quarterback carousel is about to turn because the rumors of Russell Wilson not being in Seattle no more, that's ramping up. Him and Pete Carroll headed for a divorce. Of course, Big Ben is retiring. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, who knows that's a coin flip. Nobody knows what's going to happen with that. So there's going to be Denver too. There's going to be opening in Denver because Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock are not the guys. So there's going to be opportunities and places to go, but you know, who's going to invest? Who's going to want to spend that money and build around Baker Mayfield? It's going to be very interesting.
They might have to make a trade. I always think a team like the Raiders will make some crazy trade, and they'll send Derek, my man. They'll send him
send Carr to the Browns.
Yeah, and
that'll be a mistake.
Baker, yeah.
Yeah, that'll be a mistake because Derek Carr and Baker Mayfield are two different quarterbacks. Derek Carr get a lot of crap, but Derek Carr is a good quarterback.
Yeah, but I don't think the Raiders appreciate him.
I don't think so either, man. I don't think so either. But hey, it is what it is. So we'll wrap that up right there. We're gonna get into Mr. Antonio Brown. That's the man of the hour, man. Right now, this drama right here with Antonio. Because initially, when I saw it, and I had the same reaction most people had. I'm like, oh, this dude, he done lost it. He having a mental breakdown. I say when they examine that brain, this man, we talking a lot of CTE going on in here, man. He got issues, and it's because of his past. But as we found out, details have come out. The head coach, for whatever reason, don't know why Bruce Arians did it. He lied about the situation, saying that it had nothing to do with his ankle, and it absolutely did. Now they're coming clean about it and saying whatever, because now they just released him earlier today.
Oh, he did get released?
Yeah, he got released earlier today, and he made a statement. He's getting season-ending ankle surgery because he got a second opinion from another doctor, and it was like he shouldn't have been playing. So he has to have surgery on the ankle, and he's not going to play the rest of the year. And he said the way it went, people made it seem like he just left. He was like, you know what? I quit. I'm out. He pulled Devontae Davis and quit at halftime. That's not what he thought he did. But he didn't. He said that he was kicked off the sideline. He said Bruce Arians told him, you go in the game. He said, nah, my ankle's hurt. He's like, no, if you're going to be here, you got to go in the game. He told him, say, I'm hurt. I can't go in the game. He said, you know what? You finished. And he said, AB said he did a throat slash to him and told him to get the F off the field. That's what he told him. And so now with that, it's like Antonio Brown may be a lot of things, and he has his issues. And personally, I don't think it's about this situation. It's a culmination of things, I'm sure. This is basically argument that starts because you left the cap off the toothpaste or the toilet seat up, with your significant other. It's not about the toilet seat or the cap off the toothpaste. Y'all got issues already. That is just the straw that broke the camel's back. It was a buildup. And this ankle thing, he's like, you know what? I'm sick of it. I'm done. And I don't want any more to BS.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think Bruce Arians never was a fan of Antonio Brown.
No.
I think he got talked into it because, obviously Brady wanted him there,
Yeah.
Because there was, I believe the season prior, I mean, I think it was Brady's first season there that they were talking about bringing him in during the OTAs. And I think it got up to the training camp. And he basically said, never would be on my watch. He's not a buck type player. That's what Bruce Arians said. And Tom Brady is persistent, man. Tom Brady knows what talent is. He knows what they had, and he kept being persistent about it. And he basically convinced them that we need to have this guy on the roster. And I think from that point, I mean, who knows? I think I don't think that Antonio Brown or the coach has been on that page.
Yeah.
Even during the Super Bowl season, And I fought the Bucs. I mean, you have to fight the Bucs, man, because if the worst thing you can do is lie. I mean, that's the worst because there's nothing to gain by Bruce Arians from lying. If he would have came out clean and just said, we had a conflict on the sideline, I told him he had to leave and he left, because when you lie in the NFL, and we know this from Urban Meyer, when you lie, it always it's too many chiefs in the pot.
Yeah.
So the truth is everybody gonna have a side.
Yeah.
But if you lie, your lie gonna be exposed a whole lot more than if you told the truth.
Yeah. Yeah.
And look, to me, I just think that they got to a point, the Bucs got to a point where it was like, man, what should we do? I mean, I think that's what they were doing over the last 48 hours. What should we do? We don't want him to go to get signed by somebody that we have to play in the playoffs, and they was holding them hostage, which I think is wrong too. If your head coach said after the game he's no longer a Buck, then he's no longer a Buck. You don't need 48 hours to decide to cut him. If you feel that much that he did, he violated the code, you get rid of him immediately. It took these guys Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. 4 days to decide where he's no longer a Buck. And Antonio Brown probably was the one to tell him, I can't come back here.
Probably.
No, we can't smooth these fences no more.
And I bet Tom Brady tried his best to smooth it over. Because I know Tom knows that they need Antonio Brown.
Oh, and they do. And they're not going to repeat either. I'd make that prediction. They're not going to win another back-to-back Super Bowl.
But
they beat up. I just hope it don't be like, okay, well, since we just got the news today that he's going to have like surgery and be out for the rest of the season, obviously, let's go and cut him.
And I wonder, and it makes you wonder if they hadn't got that information, if Antonio didn't announce he was going to have season-ending ankle surgery, would he be cut today? I don't think so.
No,
I think they'll continue to hold him hostage.
Yep, I think so. They would have tried to smooth it out, or just make sure that any other team in the NFC, like the Rams, like even the Packers, or Dallas, don't sign him. I think that's what it was. But when we found out that, oh man, he's going through, he's getting surgery, because look, man, any guy that you telling, it makes the franchise look bad. Need that we have to say about our Jaguars, but it makes it makes Bruce Arians look stupid. Because the guy about to get seasoned, he's going under the knife, and it probably would have been worse if he would have played in that game. And when you make a dumb mistake, you can't be quiet because it's not gonna. Those questions are not gonna stop. It's like if you don't answer those questions today, tomorrow, or the next day, they're not going away because it's next week.
Right.
Did you not know the severity of his injury? That's what's going to be asked. They need to be asked. Because if you knew the severity of his injury, then why the hell are you asking them to go in the game?
And he claims he didn't know. That's what he initially said.
I find that hard to believe for a head coach.
I find it very hard to believe. The man didn't practice leading up to that game.
Exactly. He shouldn't even been on the trip, to be honest. If he hadn't practiced, that's them trying to say, okay, we want to hope that you can go. How swollen is it? Is it okay? Take that cortisone shot, and
they shot him up.
You go. Exactly. And that's what it was.
They say they shot him up with one thing, a few things, and he gave it a go, tried to go, did some cutting, whatever, and he was like, yo, I can't do it.
Yep.
And
that's
this is
wrong
what
with this league, man. I mean, the NFL is a great league. It entertain us. It does everything. But don't think they have no wrongs in this league, man.
Right. So this is the question. So what are the legal implications for this? Because knowing a player is injured, which they did know, and they knew because they say he has a high pain threshold. But okay, what does that mean? The man told you he couldn't play. I don't care what his pain threshold is. He told you he couldn't play, and you told him to get in the game. And because he wouldn't get in the game, you was like, you finished here as a Buck, you're done, and you kicked him off the sideline. I'm getting a lawyer.
Well, you know what it means is that the Bucks gonna have to reach a settlement to pay either the rest of that contract or for this season, or they gotta reach some type of injury situation for he can get compensation. You can't cut him if he has not, if he was injured and he's got to go to surgery, and he was injured when he was cut, which he was, and he's not going to get compensation.
Injury settlement.
Exactly. So they're liable. They probably, I don't know. You have to go through arbitration, which sounds like this might be an arbitration case. But the Players Association are getting involved with this because they don't want to set a precedent. I mean, they don't want to have this situation come up again and again where you basically, a head coach, know the guy hurt, to put him in the game, he refuses, and then you cut him. That's you don't want that to be an issue here where the player doesn't have any right. And he's out basically to protect himself, his career, and you asking him to play when I mean, and ain't no way in the world Bruce Arians did not know that this guy was hurt. I mean, come on now, he ain't practiced the whole week.
I told my trainer today, I said that the NFL is going to want to distance themselves from this immediately because they've already been under fire for stuff like this in the past. They suppressed concussion information. They did. Yep. They forced guys to go back in games. They forced guys to play and all of that. Speaking of which goes into this segues to our next topic. John Madden had one of the best takes I've ever heard on concussions, and it resurfaced after he died. It was going viral on Twitter. And he was, I think, McMahon for the Bears, who had, I don't know how many concussions throughout his career. He was talking about him, and he said, with concussions, he said, I don't think guys should play after that. He said, I think guys, they should be shut down after that. He said the guys are being put back in too soon. He said coming back after a game or two. Some guys come back during the game, in game. He said no. He said guys should be shut down.
And you know what, Brandon? I mean, I got a memory like an elephant, but I can specifically recall some games back like late, it might have was early 90s with John Madden. And he would say I think it might have was Aikman or somebody. I don't know what the specific game, but I can remember him saying, "Yeah, he's on the sideline with smelling salts, and he just knocks silly." And it's like I just know he's not going back in the game. I can recall him talking about the smelling salts.
Yes. Yeah, one of the funny moments that I seen it went viral. He's talking about Troy Aikman trying to grow a beard, man, and he's roasting him. He's talking about, well, he's like Pat Summerall was like, well, this is an attempt. He's like, well, he need to just cut it out. You need to stop. Don't attempt to grow a beard anymore because this is an awful attempt at growing a beard. But man, John Madden I was telling my trainer, I said, John Madden is football. When you think about football, you think about John Madden. John Madden was one of the greatest coaches to ever do it, one of the greatest announcers to ever do it, has the best football video game to ever come out, Madden football. I mean, he's an icon. And I seen where his winning percentage as a coach, I don't think nobody's hired him. He coached 10 seasons. He won 75% of his games, and they only played 14 games back then. So that makes it even more special. And he won a Super Bowl. One of the greatest, man.
Yeah. And he made the game. I mean, I can remember San Francisco, those rivalry games with Dallas in the playoffs, man. And he just made the game just, it was an event, event.
Yeah. Him and Pat Summerall, I think. Yeah. They probably, you talking about one of the best duos to ever do it. I don't think nobody's ever come close to that. Joe Buck and Troy Aikman are very, very good, but they're not Pat Summerall.
They're not. They're not. You're right, man. Those games, man. Even for the young folks, man, it's even worth to go on YouTube and just hear those guys announce that Dallas, the one with the catch. I think they did that game. I think Pat Summerall and John Madden did that game. It will never be another John Madden, man.
Never. And one of my favorite movies, they were in it, The Replacements. And they were announced. They basically played themselves in the movie. Dude, that I loved every minute of that. They had one scene where they're the Washington Generals and they were playing against somebody, and the quarterback threw a pick to the linebacker, and the tight end, who was deaf, had hit him. Ball goes up in the air, lineman catches it, runs it in for a touchdown. And the man's like, I love to see a fat guy score. So he goes here, he get the little pen and he's drawn. He goes here, and still nails the alley and all that. Man, he's one of the best, one of the greatest to ever do it.
Yeah, man. He would make a game entertaining, man. Just listening what did he say? What did he say?
What did he say?
He'd go find the most off the wall offensive tackle and share some story like, man, really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Storytelling, all of that, man. It was really, really good.
And he had some great moments with Dion back in the day too, man. There was some good things between Dion and Madden back in the day, especially when he was with San Francisco. Yeah.
Okay, I gotta go back. I gotta look. I know it's on YouTube somewhere. I gotta go look it up.
Man.
Yeah. I love one of the things when I remember my mother when we first got cable at our old house, and she got the NFL Network on there, and I started watching NFL films with Steve Sable.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had John Madden on there, Chronicle His Life, talking about him, Pat Summerall, and all those all the old NFL films and old football, and I absolutely loved it because I'm a historian of the game. I can tell you stuff that I didn't see. I can remember because I've seen the highlights. I've seen people talk about it, certain stats and stuff. I can remember those things just by watching because I watched it that much. But Madden was a big part of all of that.
Well, there's a story I shared with you about Madden as a kid. You know, the Immaculate Reception, he was the coach for the Raiders, and he was all over the field, and they never gave him an true explanation of what happened on that play. I mean, he's all on the field trying to get an explanation of like, what is this? His hands up in the air. And he was, after that play, the game over, he's searching for he's searching for officials to get an explanation of what the hell was going on that play.
Wow. Yeah. I've seen the old footage of that, and yeah, you're right. Yeah, I didn't know he was
around the field. Yeah, you know, because he didn't, he didn't dress like he dressed like he dressed as an announcer, like he didn't really dress like a coach.
He had a black polo with a little collar on it, and he had some slacks on.
Yeah, Swedish knits. That was the pants back in the day.
Swedish knits. Man, I've never heard of that. Swedish knits.
Swedish knits, man.
Hey, so that you know what that sounds like? That's up there what my grandma used to call kulaks. That's old right there. That is old right there.
Hey man, that's 1970, early 80 old, because I used to have me some Swedish knits going to Reebok.
Oh man. Those were the days, man.
The Swedish knits, man. I say John Madden. John Madden loved to eat, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I remember. I think my first game of Madden was Madden 2004. My first game that I owned. I played it years leading up to that, but the first game that I actually bought with my money and owned was Madden 2004 with Michael Vick on the front of it. And that got me an Xbox when the Xbox came out. And dude, I played that thing. I played that Xbox until it told me it stopped working. You know, and I played Madden every year, probably up until about Madden 12 or Madden 11, 2011, 2012. And then now it's going downhill now because the way they've done it, Madden is a trash game now. Because
is it really?
Yeah, it is. It is because I've played some of the newer versions. Like I played the newest one a little bit, and dude, it's nothing compared to the older Maddens, especially the ones in the 2000s.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the reasons for that was because people were wondering, like, man, why did Madden take such a dip? Why did the game take such a dip? One of the reasons why is because they're obsessed right now with making everything more realistic. And I'm there to play a game, okay?
Yeah.
And you know, I don't need my running back to if a lineman foot there and he tripping over the lineman foot and stuff. Dude, that didn't happen in the old Madden. So I didn't have to account for that. Like, I don't need it to be so realistic and just like the game. I want it to be a game.
Yeah. Lord, I used to play my Madden, boy. I tell you, Sean used to kill me. I was never good at it. I'll say that much.
Never good at Madden.
I used to play the college game better because I used to pick like Alabama all the time. They would beat whoever, but
NCAA football. That's one of my favorites too.
Woo, boy, I put it on that all pro level. Good Lord.
Mm-hmm. Oh, dude, hey, I started on rookie, and now I play on all Madden now. But man, yeah, that all Madden. It's depending on who you're playing with and who you're playing against, man. But man, like John Madden. No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying like the NBA one, man. I just get the like the Hall of Fame guys.
Right. But John Madden, man, he shaped the generation, man. There's so many kids. There's so many kids that know the name Madden, but they don't know the man. You know, especially if you're Gen Z or Gen Alpha, they don't really know the man. Now, millennials, for me, I know the man because I've studied him and watched him do announcements, especially on the tail end of his career. He got a very good football life where they chronicle his life and talk about him on YouTube. It's really good through NFL Network. And,
but he loved the game, man. Ain't no doubt.
He loved the game.
Man.
Yeah.
And I was a former Raider fan, so I'm a big John Madden fan, man.
Yeah.
It was good to come up through during that time and hear those 4:00 Sunday games with him and Pat Summerall, man.
Yeah, man. So, and rest in peace to John Madden. He will be missed. He shaped the generation, man, of football.
Mm-hmm. Rest in peace, man.
Rest in peace. So now we're going to get into this Jaguars head coaching search and all of the turmoil surrounding Jacksonville. The national story now of fans supposedly wearing clown costumes to the games. They bought a bunch of clown noses in bulk because they're going to give them out at the game as well.
Yeah.
So it's going off the rails now. Shad Khan's decision to keep Trent Baalke is why all this sparked off, because fans were like, okay, yeah, you fired Urban Meyer, that's good to go. But now once they announce he's keeping Baalke, people are like, no, Baalke is not the guy to keep. Last 64 games, he's 10-54 as a GM.
Yep.
That's his last 64 games. And he's very political. He's very cutthroat. Him and Harbaugh didn't see eye to eye, which is why Harbaugh's in Michigan now, which Harbaugh not announced, but it's rumored that he might want to come back to the NFL. And if I'm Jacksonville, I'm interviewing Harbaugh too. Now, Harbaugh don't like Trent Baalke, so if you bring him here, Baalke's gone. So I'll vote for Harbaugh to come here just to get rid of Baalke.
But just think though, you're a head coach, and you interviewing a job in Jacksonville. You know that over the last 10 out of 11 years, you had a losing record. You went 1-15 last year, and you're 2-14 right now, which could go to definitely probably be 2-15. And you asking a guy who might have interest in this job that, hey, we want you to be the head coach, but you're gonna have to work with Trent Baalke.
Yeah.
And in this league, if you want a top-notch coach, I mean, let's be honest. If you want a top-notch coach, now if you want a coach who, a lifelong assistant who, if you want a Doug Marrone, let's say it. I'm gonna say it straight. If you want a Doug Marrone, and you set all the parameters, which they did with him, then you're gonna get the low end of the head coaching prospects, because that's how it works. If you want a guy that can turn your franchise around, have some input, you don't pigeonhole him in a job where the existing GM who doesn't have any track record to show that he deserves to be retained, and you sacrificing your head coach for a GM who can't He didn't draft correctly. He didn't. He's a GM who said value when you 1-15 and don't have enough veterans on this roster. So you wanted to do the blue light specials than just instead of paying the price for being bad, which is the third strike, and the fourth strike is he is the GM who supposedly Urban Meyer cleared with and got it. We didn't know, he didn't say definitely that he approved it, but he ran it by him that he wasn't coming back with the team back in October from that Cincinnati game.
Yeah.
Those mistakes alone, you got what they had seven. They drafted 7 picks, and the only two that I know that's shown anything is Trevor Lawrence and Tyson Campbell.
Yeah.
You got Andre Cisco. I think he can play, but he hadn't been in
I
the
think he can
game
play.
enough to show it.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Walker Little played well Sunday too.
Yeah, almost had a perfect game. So it might be he's good, but it might be the mistake of the coaches for not playing him.
Yeah.
But Trent Baalke is not the long term, and I understand the frustration of the fans. I'm actually support the fans, to be honest. I've tweeted it. I said that for a fan who done went through what these fans have gone through, and they still show up to that stadium, if they want to wear a clown suit or a bag over their head, they deserve it. Whatever they have to do to pit that frustration, I have no issue with them because they have not been given. They've been given all false hopes and no product to really embrace that wins. So I have no issue with these fans being frustrated after frustration.
Yeah.
And if they want to show up to the game in a clown suit, then and to show that,
So be it.
because to be honest, I'm gonna be real with you. This owner got to do a better job if he's gonna own this team. You know, it's unacceptable for this franchise to be at this point right now, 10 years into his ownership, and it just seemed like a ship that's still sailing off course. If you watch NFL football, which we know we do, and you watch the other teams and you watch the Jaguars, it's almost, I mean, it's an embarrassment of how different those other teams play and what we got to watch Sunday after Sunday and see this team lose, see this team don't keep their talent, see this team just make the bonehead mistake, see this team lose 50-10. I mean, it's frustrating. I mean, it's like, when is it going to stop? And I said in a story, I think the league got to get involved. I think the league should give them some consultants or something to have somebody to oversee his decisions and get this franchise on track, because it doesn't help the league. It doesn't help the league to have a franchise that is a perennial loser. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, and this franchise got to understand, man, if you are bad, it ain't no positive to talk about. So stop with all the, like you too big to be talked about in a bad light. I mean, I get on that radio station here in Jackson. I won't even say their name, but they part of the blame, in my opinion, because the part of the blame goes to the station. You can't tell the fans, "Oh, we got Trevor Lawrence, and we might have a 8, 9, 10 win season." I mean, come on.
They said that. I heard it.
That. Stop telling them. Don't come back talking about this week. I heard one of those announcers talking about, well, we'll stop talking about the negative. And it's Monday. So you going to tell me that you don't want the fans to talk negative about a team that just got beat 24 hours ago, 50-10 by a rookie quarterback? I mean, what are they? So they're not supposed to vent? Oh, everything going to be all right. They done heard that for the last 10 years. I mean, you go to any other market. I worked in New Orleans 24 years. When they bad, they talk about we suck.
Yeah,
I
dude, they
mean,
didn't they start the bags on the head, if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken.
they
They
did.
started the bags on the head
Yeah,
in New Orleans.
yeah.
Yeah,
And you have to let the fan vent. I mean, they pay the money. They go to the games, and they the reason we got a job.
yeah, this is true.
So you can't be around here like dictating the narrative, talking about, oh well, it's just too much negative. And let's get away from the negativity. Win some games. You win some games like 217 season, then you won't have to worry about negativity. But when you're
Yeah.
2-14, I mean, let's let that sink in. 2-14. What else the hell is it? What is there else to talk about?
What else?
You know, what else?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you want to talk about the draft? Yeah, we can talk about the draft, but we've been talking about the draft for the last 10 years. They,
Yes, we have.
they've had top 5 picks, and what it did, nothing.
Nothing.
They ain't even here no more. So,
Mm-hmm.
man, stop, stop with all this. We gotta stop being so negative. I mean, you gotta let it out. And the only
Yeah.
reason that the only way Shad Khan is gonna know to change this narrative, he's got to be exposed for the mistakes that he's making, and he's made too many. You know, I'm not worried about the team. This team is not leaving, and all
Yeah.
this stuff talking
It's
about,
not
well, you
going
can't
nowhere.
talk negative because they might leave. They're not leaving anywhere. You
Yeah.
know, he's getting the practice facility built. He's getting all that built, but the fans deserve put the effort, put the right people in place to get this franchise out of rock bottom. Right now, they rock bottom. It's no the laughing stock of. I'm from here. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Jacksonville native. I go to Christmas parties and it's like, man, what's wrong with us?
Yeah. Yeah. And
I mean,
like you just said, with the team is not going anywhere. The they thought we were going to LA for years. They got 2 teams now. You're not going to St. Louis because St. Louis don't want to build a stadium. You're not going to San Diego because San Diego doesn't want to build a stadium. You're not going to London because logistically it's impossible
mm-hmm,
unless you put multiple teams all at the same time over there.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, he's like Tony Baselli said. Well, he stabilized the franchise. Yeah, from moving. But we have 100 losses under Shad Khan in a very short amount of time.
And Tony, let me say, I respect the heck out of Tony Baselli, and I hope you get into the hall. But
Yeah,
man, you gotta you gonna go
he
on the
bites.
radio. If you
He
gonna go on
bites.
the radio, you gonna have to you got to tell the truth, you know.
Tell the
And
truth.
if you can't do that, then radio may not be for you. But you can't say the same thing over and over. You know, yes, he has stabilized this franchise. Yes, there's no more rumors that they're going to LA. But look at the talent. Look at the talent that's been. I mean, it's gone. You know, there's no
Gone.
way Yannick should be playing with the Raiders. I
Yeah.
mean, I can just go down the line. You know, you
Calais,
don't. Yeah,
Jalen.
all those guys gone. I mean, and there's nothing was said about it. Like, how in the world do you draft somebody third overall and fifth overall, and you don't have them here no more? I mean,
Yeah.
come on. And then the
Mm-hmm.
guys that you do draft, they bust. You know, Caleb
Yes.
Von Chase on. I mean, come on, man.
Caleb Chase on. So the like the oh let me get these comments real quick. Let's see. He said, "Will the Jags have a coach 7 days from now?" I hope not, because that means Trip Baalke is still here and he hired the coach. If it's 7 days from now,
Nah, it won't be
Baalke got
seven
to go.
days, but it'll be before the end of this month.
End of the month.
It'll be before the end of the month.
Okay. Let's see. Shad Khan needs Everton Weeks. I appreciate you for watching Everton. He says Shad Khan needs to just come to his senses and fire Trent Baalke when the season over. Bring in Byron Leftwich as head coach. I don't care who Leftwich bring in as general manager. I can trust him with that. Shad Khan bring in Tony Dungy or Jim Caldwell as vice president of football operations. Go Jags. Hey, Everton. That's the best idea I've heard, man. I'm not mad at it at all.
Yeah, and I agree with it. I think Jim
Thanks.
Caldwell should be vice president of basketball football operations or the GM.
Josh Stewart brought up Telvin. Telvin, another one. Telvin is a special case, though. Telvin has some issues. But one of the reasons he's not here no more is because of the former regime. That's one of the reasons why. But
it's been too many problems, though, Brandon. It's just too many problems for a franchise feels like they have to protect professional athletes. I mean, today, I'll give you an example today. Miles Jack doesn't like talking to the media at all. I mean, he's a great, once he does it, he's great at it. But he does not like talking to the media. Miles Jack said, basically, because of the dysfunction of this franchise this season, it distracted the team from performing at the level they needed to perform at. I don't know if that's true, but just the fact that he said that is enough for me to get the grasp that there's so much going on inside that franchise that has nothing. And I believe this is why he said it. There's so much bad news about the Jaguars that has nothing to do with football. I mean, this whole season, who in the world in the right mind would ever think that the head coach of the franchise is the biggest distraction in the franchise? And he had a slogan that said, "Own it." And he's the head coach. I mean, come on, man. The biggest distractor in the organization was the head coach.
Yep.
I mean, that's tough.
Tough. Yeah. Let's see. What did he say? Do you take anything out of the fact that Trevor was the only player available to media after the Sunday's Pats loss?
Well,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, this is what I take out of it. He's a stand-up guy. And I'm sure those other guys had opportunity to speak, but he's right. Trevor Lawrence was the only guy that was available virtually after that game. He stood up. He answered about 5 or 6 questions of why they got beat 50-10. Nobody else answered that question other than the interim head coach, Darrell Belvin.
Yeah.
And it goes back to my argument is this, man. You cannot protect.
What up, Chris?
You can't protect professional athletes, man. They're not high school. They're not college. They get paid to play. That would be like if you're on your job and you is a supervisor, something goes wrong, you have to explain why it went wrong. There's no way out of that. If you is a captain, which there are some captains, like 3 of them on that defense, there should have been one of those 3 captains on that defense, like Josh Allen, Miles Jack, whoever else played, should have been answering, how in the world did you let a rookie quarterback put up 50 points on you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the problem. You a professional franchise, whether you like it or not, you have to answer those questions. That's why you professional. You're not middle school where you gotta protect the kid. You professional. If you don't like the question, you tell a reporter, I don't like the question, and I don't feel like I'm gonna answer that one.
Right.
You got something else? Let's go.
Right.
But shielding them, which I say I felt they shielded them, and even with Trevor, it took almost 40 minutes after the game to get the first player, which was Trevor, on that virtual call.
Yeah.
The Patriots, obviously they won. The Patriots had Belichick, 8 players had already interviewed on their during their news conference before Trevor came on for the Jaguars. That's how bad it was.
Wow. Okay. So now I wonder, because like they were talking about that supposed discourse he had with the staff. So I wonder if he maybe didn't want to talk. I wonder, but I don't think so.
I don't think it's that.
You don't think that's the case?
I don't think it's the case that he didn't want to talk. I think it's the case of you can't put this kid out there and to be the sole spokesman. If there was an issue, that is the issue. You can't make him the sole spokesman to answer. How come we got out? 50-10. And that's wrong for the franchise to have him to come out and speak solely. And there's a group of 52 other players who was responsible for that, that whipping.
Yeah. This is true. Chris said didn't own anything. Yeah, he said own it, and he didn't own the thing, Chris. And look at Chris emoji with the clown emoji with the
with and the I mustache. Commend them, man. I say I don't see nothing wrong with the fans.
See nothing wrong with it, man.
If they want to have an emoji and put the handlebar mustache on whatever to get this owner to understand, man, you got one of the best fan bases in the league. What other fan base in the NFL is still going to show up to your game and watch that product you put on the field week in and week out and still show up? I have not been on a road game other than this one where there wasn't Jaguar fans flying to those games. And I ain't talking about one or two. I'm talking like 20 or 30.
Yes.
You got to appreciate what you have. They're not asking for you to go get Russell Wilson. They're not demanding that you win 3 Super Bowls in a row like some other fan bases. All they're asking is for the money that we pay for your tickets, for the prices that we pay for the drinks. We just want to sit in a game and sit in the stadium and be entertained. We don't want to sit and watch 50-10. We might, if we lose 50-48, at least it was exciting.
Yes.
But you can't allow, we don't want to sit there and watch Houston, who hadn't scored 30 points the whole season, come up and score 30 points again twice in a season when they haven't even, they're not even averaging 14 points a game. So all they're asking is put something on the field that we can be proud of. That's what they're asking, And if you can't give them that, then you let the league help you get a roster that's competitive. That's all they're asking. Just give me something that we get to close to 8 wins a season, or just get us something where we maybe still have some meaningful games to play after Thanksgiving. That's what you're asking us for the money. You're asking us to renew each spring. You're asking us to do this and buy this jersey and do this and do that.
Yeah.
All they're asking is put a product at TIAA Bank Field that's competitive, that we can feel proud of. And that's not asking too much. It's not.
No, not at all. Not at all. See, Josh Stewart say thoughts on Calvin Ridley possibly being available via trade or maybe even DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf? What? You got to send me that. I haven't heard nothing about the DK Metcalf, man. If he's available?
They listen too much of that 1010 XL, man.
Oh, man. Hey, I'm with Calvin. I'm with you, Josh. I like Calvin Ridley. If he's available, you got the ammo to go get him. Go get him. DK Metcalf, if he's available, go get Trevor. What they did for Joe Burrow, go do it for Trevor. You got to get him a Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase has changed the face of that team, man. He has. No question about it. They said, assuming really gets his mental health taken care of. Not sure if the Jags would help that. No, Jacksonville would not help Calvin Ridley's mental health, Josh. This is true.
Yeah, he'll be a healthy scratch for 14 straight games, man. I don't know about that, but I'll say this, Brandon. I think these guys don't follow tradition. Yeah. I don't think you trade down with the number 1 pick. Trade down. Yeah. Aiden Hutchinson is a good player. I don't think you need him. I think you need first priority, fix the offense first.
Yeah.
Add
Now, what
pieces.
about Evan? What about taking Evan Neal to Bama tackle at one? You wouldn't take Evan Neal at one?
No, sir.
No. Okay.
Nope. Nope. I trade down. I get me a receiver in the first round. Ohio State, Alabama,
Jameson Williams, Olave.
somebody,
I mean,
somebody
there's a
with
lot of
speed.
guys.
I
Mm-hmm.
trade down. If I have 2 first round picks, both of them would be receivers.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second round, whoever left available as the best tackle still on the board in the second,
Yeah.
I get me a tackle. I
Got it.
can I can work with Walker Little. I mean,
Yeah.
I can work
That
with
could work
him.
to walk a little. Yeah.
I don't know about Cam Robinson, but I have the leverage on Cam. So if I want him, I can franchise tag him again.
Yeah.
But I will have
Noel, Can, Linder.
yeah.
I might be
Jawan,
time.
I would not have him starting. I still have him on the team. I wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
have him being my starting right tackle.
Yeah.
Not after two
Right.
years of the same.
Yeah.
Actually, I would probably work him in and try to change his spot and make him into being an inside, like a guard.
A guard. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I believe Shad Khan really want Leftwich coaching his team. He's waiting for Leftwich to be available for an interview. Leftwich 2022. Hey, I'm with it. I am with it, man. You say Burks from Arkansas is legit wide receiver too. Yeah, he is. And Pickens
Yep.
from Georgia. Pickens is legit too. He's not a speed guy, but dude, that 6'5", that range, dude, he'll be good for Trevor too.
And
But
this is another
I like
suggestion.
your idea too. I think I
Yeah.
like your idea. Not taking if Evan Neal is if he's Jonathan Ogden, if he's Orlando Pace. I mean, any if he's Costanzo. I mean, if he's any of those great tackles from the past, or Walter Jones from Seattle. If he's that, then I have to consider number one. But if you don't think he's going to be that, if he doesn't project to be that, then yeah, I say trade the pick because Aiden Hutchinson at number one, nah. Kayvon Thibodeau at number one from Oregon, I don't know, man. But the only thing I think that will help them is are there any quarterbacks worth taking at number one that teams want? Because that's the only way you're really going to be able to trade down unless teams want Evan Neal, Aiden Hutchinson, and Kayvon Thibodeau. Quarterbacks usually surging up the board is how you're going to get your value of being able to trade down.
Yeah. I don't know, man, but Hutchinson is, I didn't see much from him in that Georgia.
I didn't either. Nah, the Georgia had on lock.
I mean, he can definitely play either side, but I don't like his angle. I think he rushes a little high. I think I didn't see a lot of hand movement getting off blocks. I saw a whole lot of power and I saw a whole lot of speed. He can get off quick. But I just don't know if with this team and the offensive issues, I feel as bad as the defense is, I saw some signs early in the season.
Yeah.
They held a Buffalo team to 6 points.
Yeah.
I think you can work with that by adding a few pieces in there and things like that. But on this offense, man, when you cannot score, when you literally, this you got a number one overall pick who had one touchdown pass in 8 games before he threw one in garbage time last week.
Yeah.
You got to I think they should build a team like Cincinnati. Give them some weapons on either side.
Give them some weapons.
And another thing, Brandon, trades happen in the NFL. Okay, you don't have to just trade I trade my draft pick and you give me your draft pick. It just seems like the Jaguars are stuck in we got to we got to improve our draft stock. Man, get me some veterans. I want some veterans on this team, man. This team is too young. It's too young to win. I mean, like a kid like Kayvon Chason, he ain't got a veteran that he can look up to because ain't none on the team. He got to look up to Josh Allen. Josh Allen is still young.
Yeah.
Go and get some veterans like the like man. I hate this. I'm about to say like the real teams, but do what the Rams do. Go out
Do
and
what
get
the
the
Rams
best.
do.
Go get somebody we heard of. I don't care if
Yeah,
he is on the last leg of his career. Get
yeah,
me somebody that can shape and mold some of these young guys and make them into players. And whatever you can squeeze out, then squeeze it out. But it's just like, okay, we're gonna make a trade, and we're gonna trade you our guy, and we're gonna get
yep.
back draft picks that don't pan out. I mean, come on.
Oh, hey, Josh Stewart say Smoot. Smoot is a veteran, but Smoot is not a star. Smoot is he's a solid player, but I don't think he's a defensive leader. He's not a Calais, you know.
If Smoot can be traded and get me some receivers and some playmakers,
Out.
he is good as gone. I need get rid of Smoot. Give me some receivers. That's a hey.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Miles Jack, it was good knowing you, but if you can go get us some more offensive weapons, I'll trade him too.
yeah,
You
yeah. I
gotta
would.
be bold, man. You gotta. I said this the other day, man. I said, the thing that's in not being said in the Jaguars facility is I don't see anything to say striving for excellence. Super Bowl, there's no conversation about excellence, and there's no conversations about Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's it. That is it. Our expectations for this team is very low. It's very
Mediocre
low.
low.
I mean, it's been low for a very, very long time. And Shad Khan I would say this about Shad Khan, and not being too critical of him, but he warrants criticism because of the decisions he's made. But I always have to remember that Shad is a football fan, not a football guy.
Well,
So he
he's got
has
to
to get
change it.
football guys.
He does. He got to run this franchise
Mm-hmm.
like a business. If you
Yep.
run his business in Michigan, the bumper business in Michigan, you gotta run it with guys that knows that are experienced first of all, and they
Mm-hmm.
know what they're doing. You can't. You know, you to me, I don't even understand why they changed the structure of what they had. Just because
Yep.
Coughlin didn't work out, that don't mean you eliminate the position.
Right.
You completely eliminate like the vice president of football operations because it didn't work out with Tom. The problem with Tom Coughlin was he wanted to coach. He was on the field. He was, his presence was too
Mm-hmm.
much as a former coach. And when you have a guy like a Tom Coughlin, and then you have a Doug Marrone and a Dave Caldwell, and they're all on the practice field. They're telling this player this and telling that player that. Then
Mm-hmm.
the players don't know who's in charge.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So Josh Stewart said, yeah, Jimmy Smith quote, he said, restore the culture. Yeah, Jimmy Smith has been very vocal for the
yeah,
last, I mean, he's been vocal for a couple years now, but he's been very vocal about what's going on now. Tom McManus has been very vocal on it too. He said, you got to burn it all down. He said, he's a part of the problem. You got to get rid of him.
and you know what,
Talking
Brandon?
about Balky. Mm-hmm.
Brandon, they need to, and I heard this on that radio station. They do. They need to consult more with the
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Smiths, with some of these guys. They need to
Fred
have a
Taylor.
big. They need to have a bigger voice and be feel and just be welcomed a little better by this organization.
Mm-hmm.
Just that they input matter. Even if it's a committee. Like, what are you guys thinking? Or even have them part of the interview process or something.
Yeah.
But but you cannot be in a situation where you don't value the opinions and the expertise of a guy like Fred Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
You got to appreciate what those guys have done, what they learn, what they know now, and you have to tap into that like it's a knowledge resource. And you can't be a franchise who, okay, you took what you got out of your athletes, but they don't mean nothing else to you other than just PR work and those kind of things. But those guys, man, they know what it takes. And it wouldn't hurt at all to tap into that as a resource, run things by, even if it's a committee of 5 of them, and tell me what you you like, what you don't like, what can we do to do this better. And I think as this franchise has to have a better connection with Jacksonville, with his former players, it has to change everything, as particularly after this bad mistake with Urban Meyer.
Yeah. So let's see. Yeah. Chris say Smoot was a good piece for a team like the 2017 team, not a foundational piece. Yeah. He wasn't a foundational piece. I was trying to find this thing on Trevor where I say it seemed something where I think he has the record, the completions record. So they have they did a stat where most completions on the road by rookie quarterbacks, and he broke the record at 201. It was previously held by Andrew Luck, and Peyton Manning held it before Andrew Luck. So I'm just saying, man, that's a little sliver.
Where did they get? See, this analytics, man.
Yeah, I know.
I saw a stat when they lose. What was 2 weeks ago? They had a stat there. Yeah, he's got the rookie record. I say, well, what does that mean? He got the rookie record. I mean, who cares?
Yeah.
I mean, he ain't thrown a touchdown pass in eight games, and you gonna tell me about something? He set the rookie record. I mean, come on, man. We gotta get out of this analytics stuff, man. It's like, man, give me a stat that matters. Like, he beat out Garner Minshew and threw the most yards for a rookie in franchise history. Okay, well, how many rookie starters has been in the franchise history? Like 3?
Right.
I mean, come on, man. Give me some stats that matters. I don't want to hear about no. Okay, well,
here go Chris talking about sound like a LeBron stat. Man, LeBron's the GOAT. Cut it out. He's playing at a high level right now. He's 37 and he has the most 30-point games in the league with all these 20-year-olds running around. The man is great, but I get what you're saying, Chris. Yeah. I can't debate it, dog. I get what you're saying. I know.
My only advice is LeBron. He better go and get one of these, man.
Oh man, that hair is gone, man. That hair is gone.
Yeah, man.
Let's see. Oh, hey, Josh Stewart, I was just going to bring up this, Josh Stewart. I'm glad you said it. Say, yeah, glad to see Mike Peterson back at Florida. It would be nice to see the Jags do something similar with the alumni. Josh Stewart, I was just about to say this. I was say, did you see what Florida did? They brought Mike Peterson back. Jacksonville need to do stuff like that. Keenan McCardell should still be here. Dang it! Oh my God.
Well, hope the next coaching staff is restore that, man. Because I tell you what, boy, I advise all the fans and Brandon go back and watch some of those games in the 20 season, even though they was horrible. Watch the receivers.
Yeah, in 2020.
And how they running their routes. They running when they running the route.
Yep.
And they get no.
Go look at LaVisca last year versus this year. Yeah. That's all you need to know right there. Go look at the LaVisca last year. Go look at the routes he ran, and go look at the way they used him. And I don't even think they used him correctly last year. Yeah. But they did a better job last year than they did this year.
They're not breaking off routes. They don't have receivers who close enough on routes to touch each other or run into each other.
Right.
They running routes and they got spread. They got bunch set. They running the offense, even though they don't have no talent in the world. And what you walk in the group. What's up, man?
What's going on? He said, Uncle John, what's going on?
Man, I tell you what, let's put on that song, Hard Times.
It's hard time. That's what we going through.
Hard times.
Hard times, man. Let's see, Everton say 2 choices with me again as Jags Vice President of Football Operations, Tony Dungy, Jim Caldwell. Shad Khan can learn a lot from one of those two, in my opinion. Yeah, he could. Yeah, he can learn a lot from those
Tony
two.
want to be retired, but he'd be a great consultant.
Yeah, he would. Yes, he would. So, as far as this coaching search, I mean, Byron Leftwich, Jim Caldwell. I think I saw they wanted to interview Kellen Moore. I mean that the interview. Yeah, Nathaniel Hackett. Did they interview? They interviewed Doug Peterson already, right?
Yep, they interviewed Doug Peterson. They interviewed the defensive coordinator with the Bucks.
Oh, Todd Bowles.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Jim Caldwell went yesterday.
Okay.
And Nathaniel Hackett's supposed to go next week, but some of these guys like Dan Quinn, the defensive coordinator with the Colts, they don't want to interview during this 2-week window. So they interview, they'll be after the season is over with. So.
Hey, Josh, I already said this, Josh. Please no to Bill O'Brien. No. That's why Balky, that's another reason Balky got to go, because he's pushing for Bill O'Brien.
That's Balky choice.
Yay, we sat and watched what Bill O'Brien did to the Texans for the last couple of years. Do you want that here in Jacksonville? Do you really want that? He sold DeAndre Hopkins for a Gatorade and a bag of Doritos. Come on, man.
Yeah. No, you can't make that mistake. You done made the mistake with Urban Meyer. You don't want to make the back-to-back mistake.
Yeah.
Get a sure thing, man. If you want to hire Doug Peterson, I won't have no issue with it. I like Leftwich. I think he's a young, up-and-coming, probably, and going to be a star. And you need to, if you want to grab hold to a star, then make that hire. I think I think he'll be a great fit. Plus, he's a former player. Yeah. And I don't think he could go wrong. I think I think he understands. I think he'll make a good staff. I think he's learned. I think it's his time. And, to be in reality, this is his franchise. They drafted him. The Jaguars drafted him. He wasn't a great quarterback. He wasn't that. But this guy learned from Bruce Arians. He's come up through the ranks, and say what you want, but I don't think Tom Brady endorses everybody, and he has endorsed
Leftwich. Yeah. I don't think Tom has endorsed many people in his career, but he did endorse Leftwich. And with Byron is proven too. I mean, just look at Arizona when he was the quarterback coach there, and I think they had Carson Palmer there. He took over as the OC. I forgot who they fired. I can't remember the guy's name who they fired, but he took over as OC, and he had about 6 or 7 games left in the season when he took over, and the offense averaged 100 yards more per game under Leftwich with the same players. Exact same players. So Leftwich can coach some offense. Bruce Arians lives and die by the man. He say Byron is brilliant, and he will be a head coach one day.
And another thing, Brandon, I even noted. I even looked back before the Bucks got Tom Brady. He coached
Jameis,
Jameis that season. It didn't go right, but Jameis threw like 36 touchdowns in that season. And they done, and believe me, because I was living down there, they did everything possible to change Jameis into a quarterback that could be effective.
Yeah.
And and all that credit don't just go to Bruce Arians. A lot of that credit goes to Byron. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, you could say that the way he looked this year, part of that maturation process, because he's matured over the last couple of years. Jameis has, man. He even went to speech class, because go listen to Jameis talk in interviews now. He don't sound like he from Bessemer, Alabama no more. He's really improved himself. But I guarantee you that probably started with Bruce Arians and Byron Leftwich.
Oh yeah, well,
and it just continued
to be a professional, and That's what this team need, man. To be honest about everything, they need a professionalism. They need the coach to treat the players like they're professionals, and the players got to treat everything in life like it's a professional job, And there's consequences for if you don't put in the work, you don't get nothing on the field and on Sundays. And they got to have a presence. I think even when I go back to the 2017 season, you got to have a coaching staff in Jacksonville that these players respect, number one, and they can identify. It's like you need somebody that they can relate to, but you can be a taskmaster, but you have to be a taskmaster that have an understanding ear of knowing exactly what they're speaking of. It's amazing to me that a lot of these Jaguar players, like they said, well, what kind of head coach do you think you need to? What's the next head coach? What's the qualities that you want? And then these guys are saying, we don't want a coach that just he player friendly, like we don't want a guy just hey, he shoot the breeze with us and he's a good guy and we get along and all that. We want somebody who's got a plan in place. Stick to the plan and we win. I want somebody to make me better. I mean, that's what Miles Jack said today. I want somebody to make me a better player, and winning is everything,
Yes.
And that's what they want. They don't mind some coach coming in being a hard, but you gotta have someone that back up the credentials,
Yes.
You don't want somebody to come in Jacksonville and say, you're gonna be this and do that and be a false prophet and then go in and everything you said in August is November and nothing he said in August turned out to be true.
Yeah. True that. So let's see. After we say Brandon and Mr. John, I like you guys. I respect your knowledge and understanding of sports. Hey, Everton, man, I appreciate that. Thanks for watching. Hey, I'm still the novice at this. I'm just getting my feet wet, but Mr. John been doing it for 34 years. This is the expert right here, man. So I
ain't been doing podcasts.
Well, not podcasts, but you've been in sports for 34 years now, man. So this podcast stuff this is relatively new.
Man, right, you say 34 years. I ain't never seen a team like this in 34 years. This season been it almost got me cussing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's see. He did, and then this helped Jameis too. His vision. He had poor vision. He had poor vision for a long time. See, he had poor Winston problem with poor vision. He threw 32 touchdowns and could only see 7 to 10 yards clearly down the field. Yeah, he came into the season with vision correction surgery and was off to a great start. Yeah. Dude, he has one less touchdown than Baker Mayfield, and he hasn't played since Halloween. That tell you all you need to know right there, man.
Man, Baker turning out to be Blake Bortles.
Oh man, what? He's ruining a great team.
Yeah.
Hey, he's ruining a great team.
Blake Bortles. He might need to change the 6 to a 5.
It's rough, man. It's rough. So, let's see what we at 123. Let's see. Uncle Jay is a guru. Brandon is a young Jewish knight. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, what do you think? Oh, hold on, let me get this. Jags need 16-point Sunday to avoid being the worst scoring offense in franchise history. Hey, Mr. John already said that. He told me that earlier today. He said, dude, and they need 17 games not to be the worst.
Yeah,
because they couldn't do it in 16.
They got 227 points. I think I looked on there like the Bucks got 50. I think they got 50 touchdowns and the Jags got 26.
Wow.
So basically, Tom Brady got more touchdown passes than the whole Jaguar team by itself.
Jedi Knight, he meant. Okay, yeah, so a young Jedi Knight. I appreciate that. But yeah, you're right. He got more touchdowns by himself than our entire team, man. So now I've heard this, and I don't know, and we've talked about this before. It's two coaches that it's already seemed like it's some rumors about and stuff going on. There's some smoke about them and their franchise and them possibly parting ways at the end of the season. Number one, we already talked about is Mike Tomlin. That's still there for whatever reason. It's still there. If Jacksonville is able to get a Mike Tomlin, you sign him right away. You signed him yesterday. Actually, I'll take a Mike Tomlin right now. And the other is Pete Carroll. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, I've heard some things about Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
Might be time for a change.
Yeah. Let's see. I say Joe Burrow is MVP, not Aaron Rodgers. I don't agree with that one. Burrow is good. He made a late push. His last 2 games, he was absolutely spectacular. He did face 2 defenses that were absolute cheeks, but he did roast them up like he was supposed to. But Aaron Rodgers has 3 interceptions, and 2 of them was in week 1. So Aaron Rodgers, I think he's MVP. But Burrow is making this case. Hey, Burrow go out and throw another 5 touchdowns and 500 yards in this last game, man. We may be having another discussion.
Well, my discussion is that whatever the Jaguars, get the blueprint of the Bengals.
Yes.
Whatever you can, get the blueprint of the Bengals because that's working. You know?
Yeah. So I'm glad Nesco brought that up because Aaron Rodgers is the next topic.
Oh,
yeah.
Man.
Yeah, we got to talk about this dude. We say, yeah, Russell and Carroll may leave. Yeah, both. I heard that a couple of times. And say AB is nuts. Oh, we talked about AB. We talked about him. But in this situation, Ness, when you really look at it, I can't call him nuts, and I can't say because he's a lot of things. He's had a lot of issues. He's been a problem at every destination he's been in. But in this specific situation, man, they basically what the Bucs did was they kind of used his reputation against him. You know, the way they the way they painted it and stuff. If it wasn't for because he released text messages and all of that today, and he released a statement and talked about his ankle and he's going to get surgery to end the season. And Bruce Arians straight up lied on him. So that's the only thing that I think kind of saved him. But in this situation, I can't go. The AB is like just crazy. But we about to get into this Aaron Rodgers and Mr. Hub Arkush. So Dan Wetzel wrote an article for Yahoo. He writes for Yahoo Sports, and he has an opinion on media voting for voting for in season or Pro Bowls or Hall of Fame. He got an issue with it, and so we're going to talk about it. So it says Aaron Rodgers, Hub Arkush uproar is a perfect example of why media shouldn't vote on sports awards. He said Hub Arkush, the Chicago-based NFL writer and commentator, shouldn't vote for the league's most valuable player award. It's not specifically because Arkush said he wouldn't choose Aaron Rodgers since the Green Bay Packers is apparently a bad guy and the biggest jerk in the league, although all of that is patently absurd. As Rodgers pointed out, Arkush doesn't know him, has never met him, doesn't know what his teammates think of him, and of course, none of this has anything to do with his on-the-field play that includes 35 passing touchdowns for the NFC's number 1 seed. No, Arkush shouldn't vote for MVP because no media should vote for MVP or All-Pro or Hall of Fame or the Cy Young or the Heisman Trophy or the Coach of the Year or NBA Finals MVP or almost anything else in almost any sport because doing so isn't their job in the first place. Don't vote ever. Journalists exist to cover and uncover the news or offer commentary on the news. They aren't supposed to make the news, which is most certainly what winning an award represents, especially with monetary bonuses often tied to these awards. The concept is simple. Trying to justify anything else is an exercise in situational ethics, misplaced priorities, mental gymnastics. There is no counter argument rooted in journalism. There just isn't. That's why a number of media outlets prohibit such votes. Integrity matters or should. So far, what do you think of that so far before I continue that?
Well, who said this?
This is Dan Wetzel.
Well, Dan is wrong.
You think Dan's wrong? Okay.
That's almost like, look, if you in high school
Mm-hmm.
and you a top player, who do you think put together the top 24 list?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think we gotta stop like dumbifying journalists, man.
Yeah.
I think you got some bad apples, no question about it, just like you do in any other profession.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna. I used to pick the All NBA and all that stuff, man, and it's you gotta go with the people who watch the games the most. You can't go with Charles Barkley and
Mm-hmm.
former players and things like that. You gotta go with the
I
person
agree.
that goes in the gym and has no motive other than watching the game and reporting on it. And if he can't, if you're asking a journalist to go report and be impartial, write what he sees, then how in the world can he not go and pick a team and don't feel like he's got no investment in it? Just who do you think the top 5 NBA players on the All NBA team? And you're not being influenced by, okay, man, do you think you think Stephon Curry gonna give you a free bag or something where you're gonna be influenced, or you gonna make that decision based on that? Man, ain't no question this guy is the best guard in the league. And
Yeah.
I think when you get it, always when you got a bad apple, like a guy that
Mm-hmm.
said that stuff about Aaron Rodgers, there are some bad apples. I mean, it's no question. You can't. I mean, but there are some journalists that they have that opinion, and whether they say it or not, they still have their opinion.
Yeah.
And if you look at this situation right now with the baseball Hall of Fame, you know, Pete Rose may not never get in the Hall of Fame, but
And that's crazy.
if you had a round table of 14 ex Major League Baseball players, and if those 14 ex Major League Baseball players felt strongly about gambling, what difference would it make if there were 14 ex players or 14 sports writers and they both feel the same way about gambling? You know,
Yeah.
I just think that you have to just the one thing I did like about the NBA would release the names and the votes of every writer who voted for their all MVP teams,
Mm-hmm.
all NBA, all their teams. That reporter is is like his votes are are seen, you know.
Yeah.
So if a knucklehead didn't vote for Stephon Curry and gave him like no MVP votes, then he got exposed.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that when guys, when I remember years ago where they voted for, I think it was all SEC first team,
Mm-hmm.
and they were voting. I think this was 2008 or nine, and Tim Tebow was in Florida, was at Florida, and he had got all first place votes except for one. One
Mm-hmm.
writer voted for Jevin Sneed of Ole Miss, and right away they exposed him. They put his name out there. Like, how in the world could you don't vote for Jevin Sneed over Tim Tebow? Tim Tebow's the greatest steak since sliced bread. Like, come on, man. But they did. You're right. They did expose him for that.
And I just think teams are teams, man. If I mean if you got an all NFL team and they're going to the Pro Bowl, I think the only thing that you want to make sure of is that they deserve the honor. I mean, if a sports writer don't have enough integrity to put the top player in, if he got some type of issue with a player, then that writer should not be a voter. But
Yeah,
you can't just say the whole group is bad because one knucklehead voted because he just like this knucklehead
I agree.
voted because he's a he's not a good person, so I'm not going to vote for him. And he's already made the determination before the season. I mean, he should be exposed, but I don't think that one knucklehead should just change the process and say all of the 14 sports writers who vote for the all AFC team shouldn't do it. And then my question would be, well, who would be qualified?
Who? That's a good question.
I mean, who would be qualified? The fans. I
yeah.
mean, yeah, I can, but the
fan voting, but I think it's more of a realistic thing to change the vetting process of the voters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, change the vetting process.
Switched up more too. I think the same guys,
kind of rotation.
Yeah, but like particularly with the Hall of Fame voting, it's the same guys all the time. I mean, I think if you've been in NFL writer for a certain amount of years, 10 years or more, then how's your integrity not any better than a guy that's been there 15 years and been doing it? Yeah. I just think you have to change up things a little bit because it does when you got the same group of guys, they all got the same criteria. They're all thinking that they done conversated with each other over the last 5 or 6 years. They all know what they're looking for. How is that a fair process? You know what I'm saying?
How?
You got to with everything you got to foster change. It's got to be. You can't have a guy there 100 years and just expect, okay, well, we know what he's gonna do. I mean, how is that a fair process? So I think sometimes I think maybe they should have a 5-year window where they change the voting and make it mandatory. If you covered the league for 10 years, I think 10 years as an NFL writer, then you deserve to have Hall of Fame voting privileges. I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. Let's see, get a few of these comments. See, NFL MVP Rodgers, Brady, Jay Taylor, Cooper Kupp. I say Rodgers. Brady is up there too. Jonathan Taylor, I don't think a running back will win it, even though previous running backs who won MVP, Jonathan Taylor has similar numbers to them though. So, but I think that a quarterback is going to win it this year because you still got Burrow as well, and then a Cooper Kupp wide receiver. I don't see a wide receiver winning MVP.
I think it's Aaron Rodgers to lose, man.
Yeah. Let's see, Chris say T.O. ain't playing no more, man. I done seen that. What how old is T.O.? What are you, 40, 43, 42, somewhere up in there?
T.O. say, man, he want to work for food, man. Give T.O. a shot. He take over Antonio Brown place.
Man, T.O. gonna go out there and get his chest broke, man. He too old, man. He did. And I'm sure he's in impeccable shape. I'm sure he's in great shape. I'm sure he can still run routes, but can he play at a high level right now? I don't know.
T.O. say he's still running a 4.340, man.
Yeah, I've seen the video. He is. He's still running. He's still fast, man. So let's see. Nesco says, I think it's disrespectful to downplay anybody that's a professional at what they do. Journalists get us the closest to the players than most will ever be. Yes, journalists are our eyes and ears in the room with high professional athletes that without them, we never know most of the things we know. And that's another point too, that and that's why I get upset when players don't fulfill their media obligations and they give BS excuses, especially when it's something that they need to talk about. If it ain't, I mean, you want to skip it one day, cool. But like, let's say when Dwayne Haskins went out partying, he had a terrible game, went out partying without a mask. And then after the game, he didn't talk to the media. That's a problem. Kyrie Irving has done the same thing, and I got on him. The problem with you not talking to the media is that all they're going to do is ask the people around you, which is the other players and other coaches, and it's going to become a distraction because you're not talking about it.
Yeah, you're right.
But
and I think another thing that's hurt tremendously over the last 2 years is not having that locker room access, man. I don't care what anybody say. You know, you can always get a better conversation with a player next to his locker than you can with him standing up at the podium and like 40 reporters or whatever in that room. And they're asking these questions or doing these visual, conference with the Zoom. I think the league has been hurt by not having those locker rooms open, man. I mean, it's just like
Yeah.
it was hard with the Jaguars because you can't get the conscience of the team, whether it's wrong, right, pleasant or what. You cannot get the conscience of what that locker room is without being in that locker room, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
This is true.
just the thing about the business is that it's just like you got to have conversation with players, man. It ain't always about X and O's and how you gonna go up against this guy on Sunday. You get a lot of things just by casual conversation of just
Mm-hmm.
how's life going, and the guy sit down. I mean, it was amazing to me. Like Malik Jackson was just like a he was a great guy with the Jags, man.
Yeah. I
Very
miss Malik.
honest, very open, very
Yeah.
experienced guy. Played on that Denver Super Bowl team, and it just when you don't have that type of access, I mean, he knew everything that went on in that locker room.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, he knew everything. Yeah. Yeah. Malik was one of the best personalities on the team, man. Yeah. He was a great player.
yeah,
Let's see. Yeah, when I hear Munoz and many Hall of Fame players endorse Baselli for the Hall, yet the media continues to hold him back, not to mention Freddie T. Shaking my head. Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, shoot, Baselli should have been in. Baselli should have been in years ago. Fred Taylor should be a finalist now. He should be up for discussion. And then eventually Jimmy Smith. Because initially I thought Jimmy Smith didn't have the numbers, but they're getting ready to put in guys like and no disrespect to him, but they're getting ready to put in guys like Steve Smith. Steve
yeah,
Smith was a great wide receiver, but if you're going to put Steve Smith in, Jimmy Smith needs to go in. But
yeah,
none of them should go in before Torrey Holt. The fact that Torrey Holt isn't in, and they're talking about putting these Andre Johnson and Steve Smith and all these guys in, Torrey Holt needs to go in now.
yeah.
Let's see. Yes, Uncle John, that has hurt the league. Yeah. Yeah, not having that. And then you got to remember, because social media has exploded, the media has lost some traction, and has slowly, what they say, become obsolete. But I don't think it's ever going to go anywhere, because like he said, you guys get access to where fans can't get access to. Even though fans have greater access to the star players and athletes now because of social media, it's certain things that they're never going to say that reporters are going to get.
Oh yeah. Well, man, let's go back to Jalen Ramsey situation after that Houston game. We was in the locker room for that. Dave Caldwell gonna speak to the guy not in the locker room, but you could hear the conversation right outside the locker room, and that was it. I understood it. Every reporter that went on that trip understood it. This guy wasn't coming back to Jacksonville after that. You're not going to embarrass a player in front of the team when basically he felt that Dave Caldwell didn't have anything to do with the conversation. It had already been cleared up with the head coach, and they hugged, and everything was smoothed
Yeah,
over. And then
dapped it
this
up.
guy come in right outside the door, and you can hear the conversation like, you don't do this and you not doing this on this team. And that's the whole problem with Jacksonville right there. From that day forward, that's the problem. You can't talk to guys like you could in the 90s. You can't, you don't
So
demand, you can't demand and you do
yeah,
it this way and this no other way and all that. That's out the door. They don't treat players like that with the Rams, okay?
mm-hmm.
And that if that's the philosophy in Jacksonville, then you gotta change, and that's what I'm talking about. Bringing in a guy like Leftwich or somebody that you have to regard the players, man. You can't, whether it's behind closed doors or not, you can't just dictate terms and expect not to get a reaction that
Yeah,
that you might think is negative, but he's going to defend himself, or he's going to shut down, or he's going to say, I want out of here.
yes, yeah, he is. You are correct.
And
Let's
that locker
see.
room, the locker room said, I wished I would have been able to go in the locker room after last week, because it would have gave an indication of exactly Were they, a lot of people on TV say, well, they quit. You know, you gave up 50 points, you only scored 10, you're in the second to the last game, and it looked like y'all quit. Well, you can tell in the locker room after a game if they quit or not. Believe me.
Right.
Wow,
okay. So I'm looking at, I appreciate that, Josh Stewart, because I forgot all about that. I was going to talk about that, and I forgot about it, and I'm glad you brought it up. To say UNESCO says not allowing journalists in the locker room has forced journalists to become hearsay detectives trying to decipher what's truth versus false rumors. Yeah, that's why you get in all these whispers. So like with the Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson right now, the Mike Tomlin thing right now. I think reporters not being there like they once were. You haven't heard much more about that. It's only been whispers about that.
But you don't get conscious of the team when you don't be in the locker room. It ain't always about, like I said earlier, it's not always about, you get the straight answer or you get like, man, a lot of times you might be the fourth person that asks the same player the same question about this. Man, how did you do against this guy? Why you had so many problems? But the locker room provides a perspective of sometimes you don't even need words. It's not always about the words. It's about character. It's about things you see, is like the first thing I would have looked at after the Patriots game. I would have looked to see who was angry, who laughing, who storming in there, taking their pads off, of just the emotions of losing by 40 points. Because if it don't hurt, that means they done checked out. If it don't hurt, if it's like you got smiles and jokes going on, music playing, that means that team done checked out. They don't have to say it. It's like the word is that the actions speak louder than words. But that's the kind of stuff that I would have been looking for after that game. When the Jaguars lost to the Patriots in the playoff game in 2017, AJ Bouye and Jalen Ramsey was in the corner of that. They were at one end of the locker room, pissed off, talking that the man we had no business being in a zone coverage. They didn't care who heard it. Yeah, they were talking to themselves. They weren't talking to a reporter, but we heard it. Yeah. And then we asked that question to them, and they was waiting on somebody to ask the question. Say, "Yo, we was in the wrong coverage, no doubt about it." They wouldn't have said that on a Zoom call, or they would have stood up at the podium and said it. They said it right there, right then. The motions after that game, and they were pissed off. Threw helmets out, the tape shit throwing all around in the room. They were pissed off because they felt like they should have won that game.
Yeah, and they should have. Yeah, this is true. Let's see. Do you guys believe Shad Khan is going to pick Leftwich as coach? I want it to happen, in my opinion. I think he has a really good shot. I think so. They're gonna interview a bunch of people though. He's going to round the bases on this one, and he knows how important this decision is. He's got to get Balky out of there. But I'm not too concerned about who they pick as the head coach as I am concerned about them retaining Balky. I think Balky has to go. I don't care who you bring in here. You could bring Lombardi here. He can come back from the dead, and you can bring Lombardi here. If Balky's still here, it's a no-go, man. So let's see. Nesco say, great point, Uncle John. Yeah, for sure. So, man, let's get to this story right here. Mr. Clinton Portis has been sentenced to 6 months for the fraud scheme role that he played earlier this year. Let's get into this. 6 months in prison. So it says NFL star running back Clinton Portis sentenced to 6 months in prison. Clinton Portis and his attorneys were requesting no jail time for his role in a nationwide fraud scheme that charged 10 former NFL players. Unfortunately for him, the justice system swung its hammer down on him. The former Washington football team running back was sentenced Thursday to 6 months in prison and 6 months of home detention as part of a nationwide health care fraud scheme involving the 10 players, according to CBS Sports' Cody Benjamin. See, Portis, who played 7 seasons with the Burgundy and Gold, was charged with healthcare fraud related to medical expenses and purchase after he retired from the National Football League. Portis reportedly made over $100,000 from the elaborate scheme. You see, as part of the restitution, he must pay back the NFL Player Health Reimbursement Account Plan. He said, back in September, Portis pleaded guilty to defrauding the NFL's healthcare plan in hopes that he could avoid jail time. According to CBS Sports, Judge Karen K. Caldwell split between Portis' request and prosecution's request for 10 to 16 months in prison. Oh, so he called a break. According to the Department of Justice, those, what is this? Page unresponsive. Is it that? You see, according to the Department of Justice, those indicted along the Portis include Cianders Brown, James Butler, Frederick Bennett, Correll Buckhalter. I haven't heard his name in years. Ettrick Pruitt, John Eubanks, Tamarick Vanover, Carlos Rodgers, and Robert McCune. So it was a lot of former Redskins because a lot of these guys are former Redskins. Portis played for the Washington football team from 2004 to 2010. Portis was drafted in the NFL 2002 out of the University of Miami, blah, 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 blah. All right, so that right there, like what, why? $100,000? $100,000. Was it worth it? I just want to know, was it worth it? Come on.
I'll tell you what, boy, you said a name I ain't heard in 15
I know,
years.
right? Them names, I haven't heard some of them names.
Tamarick Vanover. Didn't he play at Florida State?
Did he?
I think he played receiver at Florida State. He was like a big-time high school player, man.
Yeah.
I think he got kicked out at Florida State, but he was a great high school player in the state here.
Yeah.
Man, I ain't heard that name in 15 years. I didn't even think he made it to the NFL.
Yeah, shoot, man. I remember Correll Buckhalter because I used to play with the Eagles on Madden when they had all those running backs. They had Deuce Staley and all of them. And Correll Buckhalter was on the team. Robert McCune, the linebacker, Carlos Rodgers, the corner from Auburn, who got drafted by Washington. I remember all those guys, man.
Yeah, I gotta look that up, man. I think
he says stupid is as stupid does. Why?
Yeah, that's about what that is, man. It's just like, man, you can't. I mean, you can't. Don't try to beat the system, man.
Yeah.
When you're in a situation and the federal, particularly the federal government, and they got a case against you, man, it's almost like you got no other option but to plea.
Yeah. Yeah, he was at their mercy. And they showed him leniency because they said 10 to 16 months is what he could have got. And they gave him six in prison and 6 at home in detention. So, but the NFL players are not the only ones. This is just the NFL player story. Remember we covered this story not too long ago and we talked about it, but it was NBA players involved.
Yeah.
So that judgment for them should be coming down soon as well.
Yeah. Man, you can't beat the system, man. Stop trying to beat the system, man.
You can't beat the system, man. You can't. Just stop trying to beat the system.
Sit up there in jail, man. It's just not worth it, man. Just live a clean life. That's all we can do.
That's it. That's all. That's all.
And a lot of people just don't understand that when you look at a guy like Clinton Portis, I don't know how much money he made, but he definitely made more than me and you.
Mm-hmm.
And you see a guy, I don't know if it's the lifestyle or what it may be that the need for money. It's like, man, when you're a professional athlete, I was an NBA guy. I think it was John Reid or somebody for the Charlotte Hornets. And he built a house in Charlotte that had I think it was 23 rooms and had 14 bathrooms.
Why?
And he couldn't sell the house.
Of course not.
He bought a house that he couldn't sell. And it's like, man, who in the world would be your financial advisor when you buy a home that once you leave the market, I mean, you're not going. Most likely, these guys don't stay in the town that they play in anyway.
Right.
So why would you build something that you're not going to be able to sell, and then you still paying the mortgage? I mean, those are the things that the Ohio States and the Florida States and the Miamis and all that, man, they gotta have like some structure on teaching these guys
Mm-hmm.
how to be investors and not spenders. You buy a car that's you know $200,000 and it depreciates as soon as it leaves the lot. You know,
Yeah.
it's just,
Yeah.
I mean,
It's and I was listening to a young lady, name is Super Scent, and she got famous through social media, and I think she went viral doing a few funny videos, and she pretty much turned it into an empire, and like she does makeup, and I think she sells some other stuff, but I think her main thing is she got famous in makeup. And so she put a video out. I don't know when it was, maybe a couple days ago, and she talked about how she has a $2.6 million mansion now, and she talked about how she was happier when she had less money. She
yep.
said one of the issues is that she said I got a 8 bedroom mansion, and I got 5 to 6 cars. I got all this stuff that I'm not going to use. She said, and it's just me and my daughter. She said, so you know what happens? She said, when you have stuff like that, and you're not going to use all of it. You can't drive all those cars. You can't use every room. She said, other people use the things too. And she said, what happens is other people use your rooms, they use your cars, they use all your extra stuff that you don't use while you still pay for it.
Yeah.
I said, wow, that was powerful. And she said that, I said, man, I don't think a lot of people realize that, man. You getting all this stuff you don't need. I'm sure Clinton Portis was bankrolling, balling out, and all his cousins and uncles and the
Oh
Pookies and
yeah.
Ray Rays and all of them leeching off of him, using this stuff he ain't even using. And he went broke probably.
Yeah. Well, you get used to a lifestyle, and once you out the league, you still want to live that lifestyle. You still you still want to live the lifestyle of a guy making about 9 million a year. But when that retirement comes, you can probably draw some pension. But man,
Yeah,
you can't live that same lifestyle. You if you ain't making 9 million, you can't live it.
yeah,
But boy, I tell you, man, I've seen some sad stories in my time as a sports writer with some guys who just lost everything, man. They just got on drugs, living on the street, won the Super Bowl. A guy from the Saints
yeah.
living on the street. Some NBA guys. I remember a tractor trailer broke. He dead now, but man, I can remember the contract he got after he left Michigan.
Track
And
Tractor
tractor
Trailer. I
trailer
remember him, man. I used to like watching him.
and broke. Ended
Yeah,
up broke. And it
yeah,
just, it's a lot of guys, man, when they just, wrong investments and they get some financial planner and they just, they don't know where the money go. They don't know. They have the financial guy who ain't affiliated with nobody but himself, and
mm-hmm.
he just investing money in this and investing money in that, and then you look up about 3 4 years later, he ain't got no more money in his bank than me or you, and it
Hey,
happens all the time.
yeah, and you know what? And it's crazy because those guys pretty much recycle the same ideas.
Yep.
So a barbershop has been done, I don't know how many times. They
Yep.
open barbershops, car washes, they do car washes, restaurants, they do restaurants. Restaurants have a high failure rate. I didn't know
Oh
that.
yeah, it does. You have to
High failure rate.
spend a lot of money, and there's no assurances you're gonna make a lot of money. You put in more money than you make, especially like the first 3 years.
Yeah, yeah. That's what they said. So
Guys don't understand, man. Land acquisition is a vital thing. If you can own land in like LA, You don't even have to do anything. And if you got kids, just say you got 3 kids and you still have that property, just imagine what that property be value in like 10 years from now. But people don't, and another thing is an investment. You got to make, you know, guys in the NBA can, like, if you put $10,000 in an IRA and continue to put, like, man, they can afford to put $10,000 every month.
Yep.
And just imagine if you like do low risk investment. I mean, once they retire from the league, they can live off the money off the investment.
Yep. This is true.
Instead of buying 8 cars and 23-room homes, and it's. I mean, when you at the top, there's nothing wrong living lavish.
Yeah.
But nice car, nice house.
Yeah, you can't live on the north side of Jacksonville anymore, so you got to upgrade.
Buy your mother a new home.
Yeah.
Hey, right. Man, don't be talking about my hood, man.
I'm from the north side. I came from the north side too. Grand Park. Let's go. I'm just saying. Just saying.
Hey, man, if you want to buy you a mansion in Grand Park and fence it off, you can do that.
I wouldn't suggest it. I would not suggest it. I would not suggest that at all.
24-hour security, you can do those things, man.
Yeah, that security gonna be working hard. You gonna have to pay them bonuses.
We all don't have to live in Mandarin.
Nah, this is true. This is true. Hey, we all don't have to live in Ponte Vedra and Jack's Beach.
Yeah, you got that right.
Yeah,
it sure won't be me.
Right. Let's see. I know you guys changed sports topics, but I think Tony Vaselli, Jimmy Smith, Fred Taylor should have been in the Hall of Fame, in my opinion. Definitely Tony. Tony should be in now, and Jimmy and Fred should be. Their cases should be being made right now. Yeah. But they played. The market has held them back as well. Jacksonville is a very small market, so that holds them back. Because nationally they're not as known as other players because of the market that they played in, but that doesn't take away from what they contributed to the game of football.
But you know what, Brandon? I say this, man. Like I've been away from Jacksonville a long time before coming back, man. But I still don't understand why Fred Taylor is not viewed as a hero in this city.
Yeah,
I think he did enough to be a hero.
Yeah, and he's the greatest player the franchise has ever had. It's not Tony Vaselli, it's Fred Taylor.
Especially if you go back and watch that. What they beat Miami, 62 to whatever.
7. Just go look at that game and look at all those moves. Fred was out there dancing on them, man.
Man, Fred Taylor should be on billboard signs in Jacksonville, man, to be honest.
Yeah.
He was good at the University of Florida. He was good with the Jags. He should be on billboard signs. He was that good.
Yeah. Oh, Josh still was talking about when he was talking about these kids, guys with this money. Say, what profit a man if he gained the whole world but lose his own soul? This is true, dog. This is true.
That's true.
This is true. He say, amen on that, Uncle John. Oh, yeah, for sure. Let's see. All right, let me get this last article. We're going to go through this real quick. This is about Mr. Tony Khan. I appreciate this, Josh, for putting this in the chat. We'll go over this, and then we're going to wrap it up and give our final thoughts, get your final thoughts on this Jaguars moving forward for 2022. Let's see. So, say Mr. Tony Khan has apologized to the fan base of the soccer team he has. So let's see. This is a mail online. It said, "I promise players in and better efforts from this squad." Fulham chief Tony Khan apologizes to fans on Twitter after dreadful home defeat by Aston Villa, as Scott Parker insists he needs to add players to his squad. They say Fulham co-owner Tony Khan has apologized to the club's fans and promised new signings following the 3-0 Premier League home drubbing by Aston Villa on Monday. Khan watched manager Scott Parker lead his side to their third successive defeat since their promotion before taking to Twitter to reveal his struggle to bring in players to boost Fulham's frail defense. The businessman said, "I apologize to Fulham supporters for our performance tonight." So let's read his tweet. Let's see. Tony Khan said, "I apologize to Fulham FC supporters for our performance tonight. We've looked to add center back since Wembley. I'm sorry we haven't yet. 2 got COVID. Plus, we lost the free we thought was close. Plus, we had another issue with the fourth CB. I promised players in. Plus, better efforts from the squad. I should and will apologize repeatedly for that performance. Sorry, everybody. We need to do a better job. Everyone at the club for the past year worked really hard to get the team up, and now we need to work significantly harder to stay up. I promise better efforts than today. So I'll leave it there. Y'all guys go check that out. Josh put it in the chat. Check that out. But the fact that he did this, he didn't have to do this. There was no need for him to do this. He didn't have to say anything. He's not obligated to say anything to the fans. But I think it's a nice gesture, for him to say it, come out and say, hey, guys, we done lost 3 in a row. We're trying to add players. We got these issues, but I promise we're going to get better. Just hang on with me. That's more than Shad Khan has said. I don't think Shad Khan said anything along those lines.
Well, my opinion is a different.
What you think? Come on with it.
I just think this is part of the problem, man. I think this is the problem with the Jags right here. You spending time with wrestling, and you got the soccer team, and you got so many different vested interests. There's nothing wrong, living life and dabbing if you got the billions to spend and invest them on franchises. But the problem I got is you gotta spend the time.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do those kind of things if your team is consistently 9-6, 10-7, or whatever. So you can if your team is at that level where you can branch off in other areas and you can devote time to other things that you want to do, like your own bucket list. But when you purchase an NFL franchise and you've lost 10 out of 11 years with losing seasons, whether it's the son, the dad, the GM, the coach, or whatever, we got a problem in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
All your resources and time and all that. I mean, you need to have somebody in London running that soccer team and just like, okay, when we get this situation squared away in Jacksonville, then I devote my more time to wrestling and all that. But it has to be urgency here. This is I can't say how desperate this situation is with Jacksonville. It's going to be hard. A lot of people say, well, money will bring any free agent to any city. Man, it's gonna be hard. You're gonna have to really overspend to bring talent into your town. Whether you have Leftwich as the head coach of Doug Peterson, that really ain't gonna matter. It's your national image of your franchise right now that's taking a hit, and you gotta devote every ounce of resource that you have to change your public image, get this football franchise on track, and put all your energy into trying to get this franchise to a point where it's not. Let's be clear. The Jaguars right now are the laughing stock of the league.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. That's what it is. And what free agent want to come to a franchise that, man, you can't hire the right coach, you can't win, you about to be hell. I can't even remember the last time a franchise possibly going to have the number 1 pick 2 years in a row. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It ain't no happy. It's not a happy face, man. You got to put all your ounces of energy. It's nice what he did, but nobody in Jacksonville care about what he's saying about some soccer team in London.
Oh, nobody here cares. No, they don't. But it wouldn't make it better if his dad Shad Khan had done that, had said anything like that. But you got to win, like you said. It doesn't matter. All those words, even with Tony Khan, all those words are nice. Yeah, we understand you handicapped because of COVID and stuff like that. You got to win. The excuses are. I want to hear it.
You cannot lose to you can't lose to the Houston Texans and give up 37 points in the opening game. Can't get your guys to line up correctly, then come back a couple of weeks ago and allow them to score 30 points again. Look in the stats and see where Houston is scoring less points per game than the Jags. But the 2 games that they played the Jaguars, they scored 30 points in both of them. It's nothing else need to be said.
Nothing else need to be said, man.
I mean,
put a pin in it. That's it.
Nothing else should be said, man. This is like rock bottom. We got to get out of this rock bottom, man. I don't care what it take. I don't care about no soccer team in London. Put your resources in it. This is what making you the most money. I would say so. Put the effort in to try to get this to correct it. Then go out and do your, what is it, AEW and all that stuff, man. I mean, it's real, man. It's hey, last year was bad. Last year's team would have beat this year's team. That's how bad it is.
Yes, and would have beat them soundly.
Yep.
It wouldn't have been close. Matter of fact, last year's team will beat this team like the Texans have beat us twice.
Yep.
Oh yeah. I said that early in the season. I said, last year's team mopped the floor with this team. It's not even close.
Yeah. This team went to Green Bay and fought like last year. Went up to Green Bay
and gave Green Bay a game.
Fought like crazy. And Minnesota Vikings.
Minnesota.
If this team went to Lambeau and they got beat 50-10 by the Patriots, Aaron Rodgers might have
put up 70.
Yeah, he might have been in the game for 3 quarters.
Yeah.
And they would have had 60.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's see. So let's say. Oh yeah. Did you hear about that? Ohio State used a picture of Trayvon Martin.
Yeah.
To with the hoodies. Yeah, man. And initially he basically he was like nah, but now he admitted it was used, but it was without his knowledge. Dude, he's lied so much. I don't believe that.
So he admitted that he used that, but he said last week that
he admitted that it was used, but he said it was used without his knowledge initially.
Oh, okay. Well, that tells you all you need to know.
Yeah, it does. It tells me.
You know what, though, Brandon? I want to do all this stuff even with this. I wanted that ever get in the hands of Shad Khan before he hired him. Stuff just we all knew about the stuff in Ohio State with the assistant coach.
Yeah.
But I wondered, did he know? Well, obviously he didn't know, because if some of this stuff,
if he knew, he wouldn't have hired him.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know, man. I'm so sick of Urban Meyer, man. I don't know.
Yeah, he said, very troubling, but Urban is not our problem anymore, thankfully. Yeah, thankfully you got him out of here, man. You say, who's the 2 teams that you guys picked to go to the Super Bowl? I picked Chiefs and Bucks. I'm a fan of Mahomes and Brady. Mahomes and Brady Part 2. I don't think the Bucks are going. The Chiefs are a good pick. I say it's Chiefs Packers. I think Aaron Rodgers is going. He's going to his second Super Bowl. Chiefs Packers. I don't think the Buccaneers make it. They're too injured and too beat up. Brady's still playing at a very good level. You're without Fournette. You're without Evans. You're without Godwin. Now Antonio Brown is gone. On the back end of that defense, in the secondary, dude, they had guys off the street coming in from the YMCA and Florida State College at Jacksonville. So I mean, I don't see them repeating just off of that alone. And it's very hard to repeat in this league.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Very hard. Yeah. Let's see. Shad didn't care. He just seen dollar signs. Oh, talking about with Urban. Yeah, that may have been the case.
Yeah, he got that.
You see him? You see, he got it. I told you.
He got that emoji, man.
He got that emoji with the handlebar mustache on it, man.
So, Brandon, man, if you was going to the game, man, you think you'd get would you do this, man?
Hey, so let me tell you what I said today at work. So I was at work and I was talking to my superiors and I told them, I said, I said, yo, because I'm leaving my job, and so I had already told him earlier this week, and so I told him, I said, hey, I'm leaving, but I said I know a great team building exercise that you guys can implement and y'all could do in the future with new employees and stuff, and we could do it now, and it starts Sunday. We can all get clown outfits and go Sunday and boo the Jaguars. That's a great team building. That'd be great team building for our department. But no, I wouldn't. That's not my style. I wouldn't wear that. But hey, I'm not opposed to the fans that are going to wear it. So
yeah,
man,
that's gonna be some type of
man. Hey, and it's a national story now, so it's going to be every camera you can think of is going to be focused and fixed and looking for clown outfits now.
If I was shot, if I was in charge of PR with the Jags, I would have shot to address the fans. These are the kind of things you have to do, man. Even if you don't want it, just to make the fans feel that they are part of, just you hear us, we upset, you hear us.
Yeah.
And just something that they, if I was PR with them, man, I just say, I think it's almost to the point that he almost need to go and address some things, even if he just did a video and put it on Jaguars.com.
Yeah,
that I understand your frustrations.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to try to get this thing fixed. I mean, we don't want to go back in the past or something like that, just to make the fans feel invested. They don't feel when you're talking about masks and you're talking about bags over the head and things like that. It's frustration, but it's also like I think they feel like they're not being heard.
Yeah.
That the organization don't feel their frustration. They just when the next season ticket renewal, we need your money.
Yeah. And now they're talking about a lot of people are not, if they're going to keep balky, they're not going to buy tickets. Some people may do it, but I don't think it's going to be like an en masse thing. But any little bit that it affects the bottom line, they got to pay attention to that.
Oh yeah, but even with this, because this is a black eye to the franchise. I would even suggest, man, I don't believe in that. Don't buy the ticket, because that hurts. But to show up in droves, unified, and if it's wearing a bag over your head or a clown suit, I think that impacts a lot.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yeah, and now the national media is hold of it now. You can't ignore it now. You can't ignore it if you're Shad Khan. You got to face this, and he has to take responsibility for the current state of the franchise because this is on him. Well, you can place all of this at his feet.
When that game come on TV Sunday, and they go to, I think it's a CBS game, and they take it back to the studio at halftime. The first thing they're gonna show the crowd, and they're gonna show those clowns.
Yes, they are.
And rubber noses.
Mm-hmm.
And it is what it is, man. They getting their message across. We don't like this situation. That's what they're saying.
That's what they're saying. So let's get these last few comments, and then we're gonna get on up out of here, y'all. Yeah, we almost 2.5 hours in, man. Golly. See, you're not the only one, Mr. John. I'm tired of hearing about that joke, Urban Meyer. Yeah, distance yourself from that guy. Say, dude, it's so bad. I know a season ticket holder who wants to give away 6 tickets to Sunday game for free. hey, I was matter of fact, I gotta talk to my sister. She wanted to go to a game, and that's the last game. Dude, the ticket's $20 in the nosebleeds. That is $20. $20. So
woo, boy, I tell you what, boy, that's a low price for an NFL game.
Yeah.
$20.
Yep.
Man, so that's almost like the Magic playing
right.
Well, that's like the Magic versus the OKC game. You can get a ticket up in the nosebleeds for about $10.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Do you guys believe Shah Khan is going to fire Balky? I hope so when the season over. I don't know, man. He's caught a lot of backlash.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's a coin flip for me at this point because he could stick to his guns and say, hey, this is what I want. This is what I'm comfortable with. If this is something Shah Khan wants, it's not changing.
Well, I will say that I think he realizes that the fan base is upset, but the damage is being done right now. I mean, this guy have sat in on 3 coach interviews.
Yeah.
3.
Mm-hmm.
He's having influence on who is the next coach.
Yeah.
And if they interview Bill O'Brien, that shows even more about his input. But
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I just hope to get to the finish line.
Just want to get to the finish line, man. That's it.
I want to get to the finish line and then get me a nice glass of Merlot wine.
hey, drink the stress away.
Yes,
Sip.
indeed.
No, sip. Sip.
I don't drink much,
the
but
stress
Lord have mercy. I gotta have one for this disaster of a season, man.
Yeah. See, rest in peace, John Madden. Rest in peace, Dan Reeves. Yes, Dan Reeves did pass. Yeah, rest in peace to Dan Reeves and Greg Robinson. Yeah, man. Yeah, they lost all of them. I think back to back, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 3 straight days. I think all of them passed. All great contributors to the game of football.
Oh, Dan Reeves was a true coach, man.
Dude, to this day, he's number 2 on my list on coach ranks. The number 1, of course, is Denny Green. They are who we thought they were. That's number 1. But him, we didn't do anything. We didn't make a tackle. We couldn't catch a pass. We did diddly poo. The playoffs. Don't talk about playoff, dude. That right there, man. Yeah, iconic, man. Iconic. Let's see. Let's get these. Oh man, y'all with the chest, man. See, I remember watching Tampa games back in the day and seeing fans in the stands with bags over their heads. Never thought I'd see this day in Duval. I never thought I'd see this day in Duval either, man. He said I was offered tickets for free. I said nope. I'd rather go bowling on Sunday. I'd rather have more. I'll have more fun. Seriously. Well, that's gonna go bowling instead of putting the clown outfit on and going to the game. Lord,
man, if I wasn't working, I would just cook up my barbecue chicken and watch the Red Zone.
Red Zone. That's it.
The day that I retire, man, if these guys don't win more than 5 games, I would never walk into TIA Bank Stadium to watch them. That's just me.
Yeah. And Nessa, he'll take a case of Angry Orchard beer. I'll take that, Ness. Oh yeah.
Yeah, me too, man. We can all go together and drink Orchard beer to the game.
Yeah. I don't know much about the new head coach at Florida. I know he was on the staff at Bama, and he's a really good recruiter from what I've heard. And he was good at Bama, so he was good. But he was with was it the Raging Cajun? He came from?
Yeah,
I think it was the Raging Cajun. Yeah, he was with the Raging Cajun, so he came from there. So I mean, I think it's a good hire, and he bringing Mike Peterson on, and just from what I've seen and heard so far, I mean, I like his attitude, and he's at a place where it's not going to take him long to win if he recruits. At Florida. It's not going to take him long to win. Yeah. He could be right back in the SEC championship game in a season or 2. They just got to reload.
Yep. And he seems like a guy that's going to put every ounce of energy into recruiting and getting to restock that talent.
Yeah.
I'm hearing some things that he asked the quarterback to come back.
Oh, you say he asking the quarterback to come back?
Yeah, I can't think. Emory, yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know, man. I don't know. I may want to go ahead and get Anthony Richardson and unleash him because that kid can play.
Yeah, no question. Yeah, man. They say you're getting it wrong, man. You're getting Jim Moore wrong.
Oh, I'm tripping. I got him wrong with Dan Reeves.
Practice.
That's Jim Reid.
That's Moore.
Yeah. But that's Jim Moore. I'm tripping. But
Dan Reeves was like
Dan Reeves, a Falcons coach. Yeah, shoot, that was Vic's first coach, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was. I think
that was Michael Vick's first coach.
He was Deion's first coach. No, that was the other guy. That was the Cowboy boot wearing coach.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
But Dan Reed's coached Denver for a long time, man.
Yeah, no, he did.
But he was like the old Cowboy coach, man.
Yeah, okay. So let's see. All right, we got all the comments. So, man, well, you guys heard it. You know, Mr. Reid gave us the lowdown and what's going on. I mean, hopefully brighter days are ahead. You know, hopefully they get the coaching change right. They get a GM in here that can actually draft players. Hey, just this. I want the Jaguars to promise me this. I'm not asking for a Super Bowl. Just don't ever again draft a Taven Bryan over a Lamar Jackson. Don't do it ever again.
Well, you don't have to worry about that because I'm going to assure you he won't be. Well, I can't assure you he won't be back, but I don't think he will. But he ain't been the only bust.
Oh yeah. That's what he said. Yeah, Broncos. I knew he was Falcons coach. Mr. Reid said the Broncos, and yeah, I forgot about the Cowboys. He coached the Cowboys. How long did he coach the Cowboys?
Who he coached? He was coaching the Cowboys. He might have was a.
Let's see.
I don't think he was a.
He was as a coach. He was an assistant. Yeah. So yeah, 72 and 74 to 80. Yeah, he was an assistant, but head coach the Broncos. Oh, in the Giants from 93 to 96. Wow. I didn't.
Yeah, well, I didn't know that, but
that's a little before my time right there. I didn't know that. And then I know Falcons 97 to 03. I remember those Falcon teams, man. Ooh, they had some guys on those Falcons teams, man.
So what year was he the Falcon coach?
Falcons coach, he was 97 to 2003.
So he coached Vic then, right?
Yeah. He coached Vic. Yeah, he coached Vic.
Jeez, I had Vic's no idea he coached the Giants. He was after Parcells then.
Yeah. That's 96. I had no idea. I forget, man. That stint had to be uneventful because I don't remember that at all. It's a guarantee he's on the team at preseason. Who's he talking about?
Talking about Taven Bryan?
Oh, man. Get ahead. It's so dark you can't even hope for brighter days without laughing. Yeah, Chris, you can't. You gotta laugh. You gotta laugh to stop from crying. Oh, Josh Stewart brought it up. We took Jason over Jefferson.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That Dave Caldwell for you.
You trying to bring me pain today, Josh. I try not to think about that.
Hey, man,
I try not to think about the guys we took and passed over.
Another thing is they better not never say ever again that we like our offensive line. We like to, without making any changes.
Right. See, yeah, he's talking about Taven Bryan. I hope not, Ness. I hope he's not still on this team come preseason. And if he is here in preseason, I hope he get cut in the first round of cuts.
Man, yeah. I think whoever they bring in, this is my prediction. That roster ain't gonna look the same anymore. If they moving forward the right way, the Taven Bryans, the Andrew Norwells, the
Wingards,
the Lenders, those guys won't be back if they're moving in a positive direction. Now, when you cut out a lot of that, you're gonna take your lumps. But man, I think that's the only way to go if they gonna move forward in the right direction and not just be easy and we need to have some continuity. So we need to keep these guys. So it's gonna be a lot. This is my prediction. I think the Jaguars gonna have an off season like no other. Obviously the new coach.
Mm-hmm.
I think that roster is gonna get completely overhauled.
Yeah,
I think
you got
I
to.
think I think the guys that you've been familiar with is not gonna be here. I think the Miles Jacks and Brandon Lenders, and I'm not even assured that DJ Chalk will be back. To be honest, unless he get a like a prove it contract or something like that. But I just think they got to start from the bottom again. This is a 3-year rebuild at
Yeah,
least,
at least,
and it
at
don't
least.
make sense to pay. You got some expensive contracts, and I don't think it makes any sense to have some guys on this team that is not going to be part of the future in this 3-year window. You know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right. So, Josh Stewart say Treadwell may be back. I'm not mad at that. Treadwell
No,
has
I
played
think
well
he
enough, so
should.
I would give him. Yeah, I would bring him back.
Shoot, to be honest, I'm still puzzled why he even got cut in the first place in training camp. To be honest.
Yeah, yeah, because over the last couple of games, no one has more targets than Treadwell.
Yeah.
So Treadwell has been playing at a much higher level than I thought we were ever going to get out of him when he signed initially.
And another
So I
guy
would definitely bring him back.
I like to see them play Josh Hammond Sunday. I mean, I think this guy can catch. He ain't fast. Every time I see him, he's catching the ball in coverage and don't play.
Mm-hmm.
You know, play some of the
Mm-hmm.
guys that hadn't played before, so you'll know what you get and what you got. Well, you need the release or what? Play him.
Yeah,
I want to see James. What is his name? James Jordan. I want to see him play.
yeah. Was it? Yeah, yeah. I want to see him. Cisco,
Yeah,
Walker Little needs to be out there. Walker Little needs to probably start.
yeah.
I would. If they don't start, they would play significant minutes because you got to see what you have.
Well,
I
I'm gonna ask
mean,
that question tomorrow to him because I mean, what is the status of Cam Robinson?
right.
Thank you, man. I asked that
Yeah,
question tomorrow. But yeah, they said he graded like he had a perfect score from PFL.
yeah, I saw that. Yep. Let's see. I can't wait to see ETN, and I'm ready to see ETN too, man. I
Yeah,
I think that I think he's special. See, watch out for Leverage and Trevor Lawrence doing the future. I believe it's going to happen. Go Jags. I hope it happens, man. I hope it happens, man. But we're gonna wrap this up, man. We done went on. We're gonna be hitting 3 hours in a minute, man. We gotta get on up out of here, man. Let's go and wrap it up, put a pin in it. I appreciate you guys for watching. Make sure you follow Mr. Reid on John Reid on Twitter, Jacksonville.com, Florida Times Union. You put out an article when you what's the last article you put out? You said you was talking about the clown, them coming to the stadium as a clown, right?
yeah. I wrote that yesterday. I got Miles Jack talking about the distractions is what hurt them on the field this season. That's out on the website, and also the offensive scoring problems. Man, they got to get 16 points to
Yeah,
not finish out as the worst lowest scoring offensive unit in the franchise history.
right.
So
Yeah, man. So yeah, man. So I hope we were able to at least do that, man. Golly, I just don't want to be bad no
16
more.
points, man, might be a lot, but they scored 17 on them the last time they played them up there. So if that
Yeah,
means anything.
yeah.
But
So
I say this, the Colts are coming and they want to
they gotta
win.
win. They
They
gotta
got to
win.
win to get in.
So they coming to win. So they that streak of them losing here is most likely gonna be over Sunday because I don't see the Jaguars continuing the streak and beating them because they haven't won here since 2014. I think they get their first win since 2014 Sunday.
Yeah, me too. I mean, yeah. I mean, look, man, they're 15 and a half point underdog.
Oh
I think
God.
That's worse than it was last week when they lost by 40.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, I'm almost about to say, man,
That's a
I
college
don't,
football line.
I don't think there's any NFL team that's been a 15.5 point underdog at home.
I was about to say that. Those lines are in college. Hey,
Yeah,
Bama being favored 15.5 over Vanderbilt. Okay,
yeah.
got that.
Toledo.
Toledo. But the Jaguars being 15.5 point underdogs at home.
Yeah, and
That's
you know what?
bad.
It could go up even more by tomorrow.
Yep, it could. It could. It
I
could.
say Vegas said,
So
man, I say Vegas that threw the Jaguars under the bus, man.
yeah, they did. Because I didn't even know the line was that like that.
Yeah,
Holy crap.
15.5.
15.5. I say Joshua say Kyrie finally played. Yeah, Kyrie did 22 points in 32 minutes. He looked good. Yeah, so they need him to win. Just like the Bucks needed Antonio Brown, the Nets need Irving if they're going to win a title. It's just that simple.
Hey,
You're not going to win it without him.
Las Vegas think that the Jags coach is like Muhammad Ali going up against Joe Buckner.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This is it's I'm done. I'm done, man. I'm done, man. But I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on all my social media. I will have more. I think I do a show tomorrow with my buddy Sean. I forgot what the topic is that we're going to do, but it's going to be on my Candid Conversations, and we're going to have a topic, and it's not sports, but you guys check it out tomorrow. And I think, what are we going to talk about? Oh, I remember. When your usefulness runs out, so does the love. We're going to talk about that. Yeah.
That sounds like the Jaguars and the fans.
Doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it's amazing where they always talk about love and romance, but hey, when you no longer serve a purpose to a person and you no longer benefiting them, it's amazing how they just don't love you anymore after that. That's amazing, isn't it?
Kicking you to the curb, man.
Smooth to the curb, man.
Make sure y'all put Barry White on when you have that chat tomorrow.
Hey, we're gonna put some 90s R&B on for that one.
Yeah, man. Put some 90s music on there.
Hey, we're gonna put some big Luther, not little Luther, big Luther. We'll put some big Luther on that one. Man, but I appreciate y'all guys for tuning in, man. But we are out of here.